even remembered to make sure we have audio. So,
Yay!
welcome to Who Are the Monsters? This will be session 3. Yes, things are coming underway. We have everything established, and now you just have to save the world. No big deal. Completely doable. So welcome, everybody. Hopefully, everybody has had a lovely week. Devin,
Yes.
tell me what a Ledwin's favorite workout movement is. If you know anything from toe touches to cartwheels, what is his go-to? Like, he's having a bad day and he just wants to de-stress. What's the workout that he does?
So you're talking just like a basic kind of workout move?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can even be
Uh,
curls. I'm sure there's barbells to curl. Like,
yeah, he would. I mean, so the majority of his workout involves the Ethan Kawa one deal. So there's a few things like I think I mentioned in the first episode, like he likes the ladder thing,
yes.
which is exceedingly common. But he also does his own kind of form of pole dancing
Oh,
with the Ithilkawa one deal. Yeah.
has anybody ever seen him doing this dance? Or is it like a private thing?
There's at least one person who's seen it. It's
It was
it's more of a he just does it in solitude, but I mean, it would be possible to view it from outside of the courtyards or the clearings or wherever he might be doing it. But he does try to do it isolated because it's supposed to be more of a holy ritual.
okay. Well, I guess the next important question then, Smudge, have you ever seen a Ledwin pole dance?
Maybe.
How did that make you feel?
I felt lots of weird things.
Yeah. Fair enough. Smudge, tell me about one time that you stole something and got caught, and what were the consequences?
Oh, well, this one time there was this guy and he had this like amazing, like, I don't even know what it was, but it was on a chain and it was all shiny and stuff. And it was just hanging off of his belt. And so that was really easy to take. And so I took it. But then someone else standing nearby noticed. And they told the guy. And so I had to eat it really fast so that they wouldn't like know that I had it. And then they didn't believe me when I said I didn't have it. So I had to wait until it came back out and then return it. And
Great. Is this counted under one of the more traumatic experiences Smudge has had, or was that just like fine for him?
oh, that was fine.
Oh, okay.
Just a Thursday.
Yeah.
Typical
Great.
Thursday.
Dr. Killian, what was one of the worst experiments you've ever conducted, and what happened? What made it so memorably terrible?
Oh man, God, there's so many to choose from.
Of course, they're all terrible.
They're all terrible. I mean, there was a time I fused a cat with a hawk. It was, oh my gosh, that did not end well. Had to shoot that down.
So you
Uh,
made a hat?
yeah, it was great.
You're fired.
Uh,
Get out.
I call it a cocked, but okay. There was that.
Both are bad.
They're both terrible names. There was this one time, I during the experimental phase of regeneration growth of this orc that I was helping repair his leg.
Okay.
Kind of. Have any of you seen Akira?
The animation, right? Like the anime?
Yeah.
Heck,
Okay.
yes.
So all of you know, so most of you should know the scene in where the main character's arm basically like extends out and basically consumes them.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much like that, but way more gross.
Sure.
And um, We had to use a lot of fire to take that thing down.
Okay. Is fire a go-to solution to detain?
Well,
Contain?
we'd like to think that if we've noticed that fire actually was able to like detract the metamorphic stage that it was going through, so it really does help.
Okay.
So long as it's in a very heated situation, the morphing can be contained, so it does gives me a bit more time to study in reverse and see what went wrong. But all in all, I have no problem just burying another body behind the building. That's just for
Okay. Perfect.
we don't need to talk about those graveyards.
Yeah, that's in the past.
Yeah.
Faryad, I know this is something we haven't yet explored within the past 2 episodes, but it is common knowledge that you are generally not well received by strangers.
Yep.
Can you tell me about one time that, like, what was the worst reception that you've ever received in your short 10 years of life?
Probably. Well, definitely that. But probably the one that affected Faria the most was when they were wandering the countryside and answered. They seemed to be very sensitive to the pleas of children. So they answered almost like this preternatal or supernatural sort of plea, like they hear the pleas of children and they went to one, and in the process of trying to save those children from some natural disaster about to unfold, the children, rather than being thankful, screamed and went running away and actually got into the natural disaster. So in trying to save them, essentially doomed them.
Oh. That's terrible, and I'm so sorry. All right, excellent. Well, we've learned a little bit more about our players who we will be working with right now. So, it is day 2 of the frog. What's a nice, generous word to explain this crisis?
Frog storm?
Frog storm. Yeah, very generous.
I was gonna say infestation, but okay.
Infestation's very on the nose, but storm also, it has like a chaotic element about it, and I like it. I'm writing it down.
We got some frogs that were we got the frogs. Are we gonna get locusts? Are we also killing firstborns? Like, I just want to know what the
God.
trend is gonna be.
The plagues.
You'll have to find out. Who knows? However, no locusts this morning, but these frogs that weren't stepped on, smushed, removed through other means have grown in size to about 2 feet tall. Ooh. And chaos is the accurate term to represent what's happening around town. City Watch and any extra members of the guild have been dispatched to help these poor citizens keep their houses safe. These frogs don't give a fuck. They're breaking windows. They're just hanging out looking for things to eat. Lots of cats have gone missing. Many small dogs. These frogs have been very destructive, and there's even like a contingent of volunteers from the city of Lendor, which are, you know, banding together to get rid of some of these frogs. Like, it's becoming an actual issue. However, hold on, this is driving me crazy.
Killian, you have a new alibi for all the missing animals.
Nope. The frogs did it.
Yeah.
Also, this podcast has been sponsored by Heineken. All right, so go on.
Shirt. Yeah. So, day 2. Everybody may or may not have some things that they want to start investigating. We can start with the most obvious. Aledwin, you had some feelings come to light because on our previous session, you've learned that your What was the nice word for cult?
Oh,
Order.
it was
Your order.
yeah, the Church of the Radiant and Transformed Domain of Sehanine of the Lendor Isles.
Yep, that
Much taste,
one.
little boys.
They might not have been as honest with you as you anticipated. So, how would you like to start your morning off?
Well, first I'm gonna groan and complain that we're waking up in the morning instead of evening, as I always do, and squint in the light, apply the cream that was given to me for my constant sunburn, and that's very important. I need to do that first.
Is it aloe?
Once,
Like just aloe vera?
yeah, it's sort of like the elvish kind of enhanced aloe cream.
Oh.
It's not the really expensive stuff because I'm still somewhat humble, but it's enough to get the job done.
I appreciate that this is where you qualify your humbleness. This is where it comes
Yes.
from.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've invented aloe. We just can't seem to figure out sunscreen because we don't ever need it.
Honestly,
We just don't. We just don't go out in the sun. It's like, why would you do that? So once that's been done, gonna make sure that the Chosen is still snoring loudly because, yeah, he sleeps in. And I think the first thing I'm gonna want to do is try to get back to the church and talk to the high priest, or at least try to talk to whoever I can attempt to get to with certain ranks and in the middle of the morning.
Okay, that's absolutely doable. Your church is definitely a little ways away from the guild. I couldn't recall, do you have a home in Lendor, or do you sleep at the Order?
My family has a home, but for the most part, I would stay in the barracks of the Order.
Okay, perfect. So you're already there. You don't have to travel anywhere.
Excellent. So, so I'm gonna see who's awake, who I can try to get the High Priest involved, because this is an apocalyptic event, so I feel like he should be made aware if he's not, and if he is aware, then I'm the Guardian of the Chosen, so I should probably be involved with that.
Definitely. All right, Devin, can you tell me what is your favorite texture?
Oh.
Yeah, right?
I'm gonna say it's like this like sort of like a rocky kind of like ivory rock, kind of sort of smooth, but it has like sort of a coarseness to it.
Okay, the Elder...
Piano keys.
So that's just ivory, I think. But, all right, Elder Ivory is the elf that is currently up and roaming the halls, as she is wont to do early in the daytime, dressed kind of head to toe in robes. She also has a face covering. There's not a lot of... I feel like there would be a lot of windows. So all the cloth covering is just to protect her skin from the sun. But this is like the nighttime wanderings of somebody. She's just doing her version of the nighttime wanderings in the day.
Yeah, and if I could add on to the window thing there, I'd imagine they would have a window that at every point of the moon's sort of course over the sky, it would always have a moonbeam shining through at least one window.
That is strangely beautiful, and I really want that in real life. And they absolutely have it.
Excellent. So I will approach Ivory and ask, "Is the High Priest awake?"
Oh, young one. Let me look at the moon. And she's gonna glance outside and kind of squint a little bit. But you can't see the moon because the whole sky is black at the moment. So she turns back to you with her eyes still squinted. I'm not certain, truthfully. I think you should probably go knock on his door. You might find him either asleep or awake. It's hard to tell with the... She's gonna wave generally towards the sky.
Yeah, okay. She's taking this rather well. Okay, yeah, let's go to the High Priest's chamber, which I'm going to assume is up several steps.
Oh, absolutely. At least like 2 very long winding staircases. How is your cardio? Are you winded at the top of? I mean, we'll say 20 flights of stairs if they were like flights.
That's a lot to climb this early in the morning. while wearing full plate mail.
Oh yeah. An extra 50, 60, 80 pounds.
Yeah. And it's elven, so it's not as
Half
heavy,
the
but it's
weight.
still quite heavy.
So 40, 50 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not like, jogging tracks or anything. No, I'm gonna be fairly tired once I reach the top, because I do work out a lot, but it's more so like core strength, not so much cardio.
Okay.
I don't generally need to run so much as I just need to be able to fight and defend.
Heal mostly.
And yeah.
Okay.
So I will give a polite knock on the door.
The door is ajar, and with the pressure of your fist, it creaks open.
Okay.
Do you peer inside, or are you respectfully outside?
I think I'll be able to see whatever I can see through the cracked open door, but I will call out, Most Radiant Mo, sorry to disturb you. I have news of the coming apocalypse. No answer.
There is no response.
Okay. Then I will enter at this
Okay.
point, because now I'm kind of worried. And really, I shouldn't go in there, but the apocalypse is happening. The sky is dark. Frogs are raining from the sky.
Throw decorum out the window.
Yeah.
Inside is a familiar office. It's your pretty standard stone office with a desk in front of a window, and this is the tallest window in the actual order. And this window would capture the. What's more important, the full moon or the new moon in this religion?
The full moon would be. The moonbeam is supposed to. The moonbeam is sort of the strength of the goddess kind of coming down upon us. So the full moon would be more important, because that's when we get the most strength.
Okay. So this office would be one of 2 places, which the full moon has direct lighting available. However, it's dark at the moment for many reasons. There is normally 2 candles on the corner of the desks, but they've both been burned down to nubs. There are papers scattered all across the desk. It looks so much more disorganized than you've ever seen it. All the drawers are pulled open, and the glass, which was otherwise stained with probably the goddess holding her hands up, and like that one spot is like where the moon would come through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is shattered. Strangely enough, the part of the glass that's shattered is the goddess's head and her hands, like the upper half.
The moon part.
Yes.
That's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I was gonna ask, but that pretty much is it looks like it's been ransacked versus like hastily packed or something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use your deductive skills to reason that out.
Yeah, and but the high priest himself is nowhere in sight. Okay.
You want to investigate a mystery?
Yeah, let's do that. Seems a pertinent thing to do at this point. Ooh, that's 9.
One question. What happened here? What
Yeah, let's
sort
go
of
with
creature is it? Oh, go ahead.
Let's just go with what happened. Like, do I notice the signs of a struggle? Like
Yeah.
possibly blood, scraps of clothing, like?
Scraps of robe on the corner of the desk, which has been chipped off. This is a durable desk. It's made of some old-ass elven tree that has probably been around for a millennia. So the tree itself, like, you recognize as something that should be unbreakable, and yet here we have this corner edge that looks jagged. It's not a clean cut, and part of the high priest's robe has caught on it, leaving behind a silver cloth.
Okay. So I can deduce that he's probably been taken.
Yeah.
Which probably
This
means
would be my
that
setup for an indirect
whatever the
hook, but at a higher temp.
whatever the alternate or the
Replacement for smudge?
no, well, yeah, the other group, the
Other order, which we haven't named yet.
yeah,
I mean, it's your order. They're just...
the sect, the other sect of the order. will be called
That's the category. That's the smaller
Well-
version of within. You gotta write that down.
sect. I'm going to assume that they have probably done a coup or something, because I don't really know what's happening. But since he's at this point, I'm going to assume the high priest is not a part of this, and I am going to run back down the stairs 2 at a time
Oh.
and try to raise the alarm.
Can you
Basically, I'm
just...
going to find Ivory or whoever's closest and basically just start trying to get everybody awake, and that we need to get on this because the apocalypse is coming and the high priest has been kidnapped, and neither of those are good. And all of civilization as we know it is probably going to crumble in the next few days.
All right. Just give me an act under pressure. This
Oh
is
yeah,
a
that makes sense.
double succession just to see if you can make your way 2 steps at a time down the stairs and raise the alarm simultaneously.
Okay, that's a 7.
I love these. Because there's 2 actions that we're trying to... No, I'm just going to make the choice. You don't come as gracefully down the stairs as you would have wanted.
I'm panicking.
Yeah. All it takes is your foot to slip once, and it sounds like pots and pans being thrown down a flight of stairs, and that is enough to alert.
I was gonna say, on the plus side, that probably woke everybody up. So.
You have accomplished your task. But we're gonna pause right here.
I'm assuming my armor's dented as well.
It's a little rough. You got like stair marks in it. It's like lines everywhere. You'll have to go at that and fix it when you have some free time.
Yep.
Who do I have next? Gwen.
Okay. I think when I wake up, one of the first things I would do would be to go to my library and start just looking up books on the apocalypse, and if I can find any other kinds of, like, what's the next sign we should be looking for, or if there's any kind of, if any religion had some kind of ritual that would help stave it off, or if there was something that, things like that, other warning signs and ways to perhaps, if not stop it, slow it down a bit.
Okay, perfect. So for what you want, I think we're gonna roll read a bad situation, because those questions.
Literally.
For real. Cool. All right, let's see. And that is, what do I add? Sorry, pulling up all my sheets here.
That'd be sharp.
Sharp. Oh, great. That's exciting. Okay, so that's a 10.
Damn, you got 3 questions. You're doing some mad research.
I researched so hard. Okay, so let me see then. So
Let me zoom in. So the 2 ones that aren't necessarily applicable are what's my best way in, what's my best way out.
right.
If you want, we can reword that to... Well, actually, pause that one. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? Applicable. What's the biggest threat? Applicable.
Yeah.
What's most vulnerable to me? What's the best way to protect the victims?
Yeah, I can work with those 4 for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. I think for sure, are there any dangers we haven't noticed? Is there anything else we haven't noticed that's been happening?
you're poring over these books, and there are volumes upon volumes upon volumes on the apocalypse. Every culture, every race has their own iteration of the apocalypse. So some of them you're reading that like sign number 10 is supposed to be frog. Sign number 2 was locusts. And then you find an apocalypse that is more related to the elves, we'll say. And their apocalypse has more to do with an ever-burning sun, volcanoes erupting. But you haven't... So yeah, you know that there's plenty more dangers. You just
Sure.
can't quite identify what the dangers are.
Okay. So lots of danger.
Danger, underline.
Yeah. Underline. Okay.
Capital words.
Yeah. My next question would be, I guess, what's the best way to protect the victims? In the sense of like, is there any, I guess, I don't know if I could apply that to like, can we slow this down? Can we stop this?
I'll give you 2 choices for this question. You could either
Yeah.
hold on to that question and
Okay.
use it at a later time,
Okay.
or we can reword it to, like, how can I protect the current victims being the victims of the frogs?
Let's go with the second one. Let's just get something now.
Okay, so in your readings, you've come across, so you've got books on the apocalypse, and you've got books on specifically this aspect of the apocalypse, being either, we'll use the more scientific term, infestation, as Killian would say. The best way to handle an infestation is mass extermination. And you have a feeling that the city might have the scientific and engineering skills to be able to structure a mass extermination.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, I'm writing things down.
Mass extermination. Oh, cool.
Right? Great.
Sounds better than genocide? Like, I don't know if that counts for frogs.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I guess
Frogs are
my
beings too.
I mean,
It's
to me,
true,
they
it's
are.
true.
I think they're cute.
also
I do
just-
too. I love frogs. And then I guess the next one, what's the biggest threat? I think I would go with.
The catalyst is the biggest threat.
Okay. I mean, that tracks. Cool. Great. I think that was my 3.
Yeah.
So I will take my notes. I've taken lots of notes and ripped out pages, even though it wounds me, but anything that's got
Pages out of the books in the library?
I think so. I mean, it's my
Ooh.
family's library. It's fine.
Yeah. Basically pay for it. It's fine.
Yeah. Just in the cases where I was like, this is too much to write. I just need all of this information. And I know I can't carry a book around and I have to brace for it. I have to take a moment and hope I can find somebody who's got a mending spell. And then just, desperate times. So
Well, you're halfway through tearing out a page in a book. A familiar form kind of frames your peripherals. And as you look up, you notice your father. I'm going to call him Garrett.
that's fine.
We're going to stick with G's for your family.
I love it.
Garrett's a tall man, pretty unassuming, slim, broad shoulders, loves to wear tweed suits. Occasionally has a bow tie when he's dressed up. No bow tie today. Halfway through your paper, he puts his hands down on top of the other page of the book. Gwen, what are you doing to this precious tome of information?
I'm so sorry. I'll fix it later. I promise. I really need the information right here. It's the apocalypse, stuff like that. I promise I will fix it.
He shakes his head. The apocalypse? You're wasting your time researching this drivel? You know that's not real. I have raised you to be a better person than to believe in this unscientific garbage.
I know. We talked to the Lord of Water with the Monster Guild. They sent me there.
Do you know what the Lord of Water has done to our economic standing in the past years? You can't trust somebody who has depleted our fishing or the fish in the water. Like, this Lord of Water has been a direct hit on our economic standing.
I think there's more to it than that. And I mean, you're the one who always says we need to strive for knowledge. Do that. I'm trying to get all the information, trying to get all the facts. And as of right now, logically, the sky is turning black. There's frogs, everything. It's the signs in like 3 different religions. Like something's happening. I'm making logical conclusions.
He tisks at you. This is something of myth, Gwen. Don't waste your time on this. You're smarter. I know I raised you to believe in facts. The sky, we can explain the sky. We have people researching it right now. The frogs is just a result of Lakafka Island. They're having problems over there. The ecosystem's been thrown out of whack, and we're just reaping the consequences. This will be fixed in a week.
They grew 2 feet overnight. That's not natural.
There is a plant that can be found on the Spindrift Isle, where when consumed, the creature may grow at a steady rate faster than they would otherwise. It's perfectly natural. Science can explain all of this. And then he slowly starts to close your book that you were ripping notes out, takes it, and then reshelves it.
I keep an eye on where he put it. Okay. Well, I'm doing this for the guild. There's more than one of us looking into it. So I am doing my job. The job you want me to do. I am doing it.
I get it. I do. I encourage your endeavors with the guild. We've all done our time there. Your mother and I spent 6 years there before we retired. It was wonderful, but don't let your myths and legends get control of your logic and reason.
Yes, Father.
With your obedience, he stalks away.
I grab the book back. And I wait until I know he's gone and I finish ripping the page and put it back.
All right, we'll pause there. Was there anything else you wanted to finish up?
No.
No, perfect. Faryad, did you spend your night in the closet? Yeah.
Yep.
You were in the
I'm
closet.
usually in the closet unless other accommodations have been made, but usually I'm kind of ignored, so I just usually go somewhere else and find the nearest place of privacy.
Have you turned this closet into a bit of a home? Like, have you dusted out the cobwebs? Have you...
Nope.
Oh.
I just store myself in it.
Have you made friends with the spider that lives there?
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
For some reason, the spider is completely okay with me, which is why I've formed a bit of a bond. And I'm like, hello there. Well, today was interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Island. And I narrate the entire events of what happened on Lakafka Island. And then the sky went black. I don't know why, but I remember this time where when I was traveling, I came across this mystic that people said was deranged, but somehow I felt truth in their words. And they grabbed me and said to me that you are one of 2. And the 2 of you will change the world, either save it or bring about its demise. And I didn't know what to think about it until I met Smudge. And I wondered if Smudge was the one bringing everyone's demise. And I was told if I figured out who was who, I should end them. But Smudge is a child. I can't. And I spend the entire night just musing.
Any reaction from the spider at all? Like any leg twitches to your talking?
I feel like sometimes it tilts its head, but it's hard to tell sometimes. It's so small. But I let it sort of crawl all over me. And in real life, I really don't like creepy crawlies.
I didn't
But,
think so.
but it seemed to be somewhat happy crawling, not, ew, get away from me crawling.
I like that there is a difference. What is so, Miriam? Can you tell me what is your favorite board game? It can be a classic. It can be a brand new one. It can be one you've only played once and thought was fun. And what was it called? You're looking at your.
Well, because I know the game, but for whatever reason, I just completely blanked out. Everdell.
Everdale?
Dell.
Dell.
It's so cute.
It's early morning, and you hear footsteps outside the hallway, which you do often. I know, actually, it's not going to be... Everdell will be an NPC later. This is going to be somebody else. You hear footsteps outside, which is relatively normal. You're in a low-traffic hallway, but nonetheless, it's still... People still have to walk by. And then today, something happens which hasn't happened since you've set up shop here. You know how in like movies when you're looking at like the crack of the bottom of the door and you've got like the light and then like footsteps come in front and it blocks out the light and it's so ominous. And that's what you see. Two presumably feet are blocking out the light that would otherwise filter into your rather dark closet. And they stand at the door for about 5 seconds before the doorknob slowly turns and swings open. A young woman with dark curly hair, dark skin, and a long white lab coat locks eyes with you and starts screaming.
I try to pretend to be just a normal clay golem doll.
Give me an act under pressure.
Okay, so that would be with cool.
The Toy Story method.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a total of 13. So I rolled
Damn!
this.
Someone saw Toy Story 4.
You not only accomplish what you set out to do, but you also get a bonus. What kind of flair is offered up to this doll-like act?
The spider's just running around me and I'm not reacting whatsoever, and there's like even maybe some cobwebs that were built while we were conversing overnight, so it's like clearly have not been touched or used at all.
Perfect. The woman catches her breath. She starts fanning herself a little bit. Oh, goodness me, I almost thought that you were some kind of monster. I don't even know what I would have done. That's way too much for me to handle. Oh my gosh, and there's even a spider. And she slams the door shut. And, marches away.
I mean, I don't need to breathe, but I just do the whole sigh of relief. And I just very gently sort of caress. I was like, you're a good friend, Spider.
The best NPC. Spider Bro.
Yep.
Spider bro.
Fist bump. Smallest of
One
fist
little
bumps.
leg, yeah. I don't necessarily have an immediate goal for Faryad. I have a lot of accompanying things that I need for you. I want you to partake in. Is there anything Faryad would like to do within the next scene before I thrust you into something?
Probably I'm concerned about the child that's been abducted. So I would probably figure out a way to see if there's any leads. The first thing would definitely be touching base with Eledwin, but Eledwin seems to not like me for some reason. So my next thing would be the super researchy person, which would be Gwyn. I go to the library because that's usually where I've heard Gwyn could be.
Do you take direct routes, like the main roads there? Have you walked them before?
I usually take like sort of the most circuitous and less traveled places because reactions like what I just had.
Okay, I just want to see if you can go about this unnoticed. Give me one more act under pressure, please.
Okay.
You don't feel a lot of pressure walking, but a little bit. There's always the stress that people might come up to
Okay,
you.
so that's double 4, so that's a total of 9.
You You get the feeling that you've gone undetected. There was one moment when you were walking towards the library, and for visual sake, let's say you were on one side, like the opposite side of like streets that run parallel, but you can see in between the houses, whoever is on each side of the road, and you catch a glimpse of those white lab coat robes, but you don't necessarily know.
I plank.
You
basically.
plank. Play
T-pose.
dead. It's perfect. You don't know if you've been seen, but you've seen the white robes.
White robes make me uneasy in general, especially my previous ears.
With good reason. But yeah, you otherwise make it to the library unbothered. Do you have... Because once again, so the people that you would encounter, stereotypical library, you've got your front desk with the person sitting there who probably checks your books in and out. That's the only person there, and there's like a row of tables, a bunch of bookshelves.
Does Gwen have a spot?
Does Gwen have a spot?
I think I would have a spot. I think there's a very particular desk kind of towards the back that she likes to go, kind of like back in the corner where she's out of sight of people, so she has like some privacy and can just sit and nobody will know she's there.
Is your spot placard? Like, does it have your name on it?
It might. You know what? It probably does, much to her chagrin. I don't think she necessarily wanted it to, because it kind of draws attention that way, and then people will be like, oh, this is where Gwen is, I'll go find Gwen. But when she very much likes to be in there to not always be found. But yes, I think her name would be on there.
It was a gift from your parents one
Yes.
birthday.
For a birthday, my 16th birthday.
Yeah.
Sweet 16. Here's a placard on the library
With your name. Yeah.
table. Yeah.
Perfect. So you, Faryad, would just have to avoid the librarian and hopefully be able to identify where Gwen's spot is.
Okay, so what I do is, can I like curl up in a ball, like and basically bowling ball my way to the desk?
Okay, so let me double check your page. I think we're doing two things here.
I mean, it's fine if it requires too many things, but I was just thinking, like, because I can kind of morph a little bit. I mean, it's not a move per se. It's just...
I don't know if anybody here has seen any like Gumby. But
Oh, yeah.
green
that's
thing.
what they would do. They'd all like scrunch up into a ball and roll.
Roll.
And they were made of clay, so you know. Also, I feel like going to be easy to find. You just look for the table with the stack of books.
Yeah. Lots and lots.
If you want to roll into like a good bowling ball type ball, I'm gonna have you roll to use magic.
Sure.
And then to see if you're able to roll past, we'll just act under pressure again.
Okay, so that's a total of 8.
You're
Sorry, 7. Yeah.
okay, still mixed success. Your bowling ball shape, it's not as round as you meant. So on each rotation, it makes a soft thud. So I'm gonna make you roll act under pressure with disadvantage, so just -1.
Okay. So that is, so basically I do my entire total and then -1.
Yeah, plus whatever
Okay.
your modifiers.
Oh, that would be a 4.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. The librarian, Everdell, cannot help but notice that horrific sound. And like, this library is meant to be very quiet. Everybody is shh as soon as they talk. So this noise is very apparent to them. And they go around their desk and look down and they just see this. Are you gray? Is that your
I'm
color palette?
sort of like a reddish brown, so like clay color.
Like clay, yeah. Okay. This clay colored ball, but it is not a well-made ball. Like this craft person, whoever made that, they should be ashamed. Everdell is going to pick up the paperweight and place it on their desk and hold down some paper. What are you up to, Faryad?
I just go possum.
Okay, live your life like a paperweight.
Yep.
And thus goes the rest of the game. Faryad remains.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yes, this is my life.
Yeah.
This is fine.
You can magic yourself into another shape, or you can remain until we shift scenes.
I will remain so we shift scenes. I think this is
This is your life. Yeah, perfect.
It's just where you live now.
Killian, Dr. Killian.
Hi.
How does Dr. Wilde start his day? Do you just like wake up on one of those like morgue metal tables with like a sheet draped over your chest?
No, I sleep in my office.
Much better. On the
yeah.
floor? Do you have a cot in there?
I have
Do you sleep in your
nice...
chair?
No, it's not. Wait, so I have a desk, I have the chair, but on the side it's a nice olive green sofa that I sleep in with like a little Farbog teddy.
Oh, I think that's fantastic.
So he's sleeping with that, and he gets up and he like makes his sofa, so he folds the blankets, he puts the pillows away, and as the coffee's being made, it's like extra strong with like 6 spoonfuls of sugar, pure black, and he's just opening up like random textbooks of like, oh, here's something about the apocalypse. Oh, and another one, here's the anatomy of a fairy and elves. I really don't want to deal with this today. I just want to get back to advancing my studies, but okay. I think at some point I'm going to just kind of slowly start making preparations, because I know I'm supposed to be meeting with patients today about like, oh, what generation methods am I going to be using with them on their limbs? Because again, you know, not a lot of people want to have a warforged arm like I do. So they want their actual limbs. Speaking of my warforged arm, I do not have it on me right now because I took it off before I sleep.
Okay.
Um,
Do you moisturize your stump? Is that like proper care for?
yeah,
Cool.
it's just something that has to be done, or else it'll kind of get all gross, and I hate that
Scaly?
feeling. Yeah, I hate that feeling.
Okay. Yeah. Treat yourself.
So I do all that, but then I notice, god damn it, where the hell did I place my arm last night?
Your arm is. Do you have like You have an office, but do you have like a waiting room?
Yes.
Okay.
A waiting room, nice like little sets of like couple of chairs with like the latest Scientific Mind magazines there.
It's all
Nothing too
handwritten.
crazy.
Can't always afford the printing press for that.
Yeah, it's all handwritten about like, this is how science is gonna be progressing as time goes on without any impeding, distractions. We was able to, perfect Warforge prosthetics. Biogenetic regrowth is gonna be like the next thing. And it's supposed to show how, as time goes on, without us being questioned on how we get our methods done, this is where science can kind of take us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your arm, however, is resting on the guest chair with a note and your daily planner that your assistant has arranged for you. And the note just says, "Arm forgotten, lab returned, signed, Ingrid."
That woman is a saint. All right. Well, at least I got my arm back. So
Your
after
calendar does detail whatever event that you explained to me in your meeting to discuss that
Yeah.
stuff. It also does
Consultations.
have consultations. Yeah, it's very important. It's how you get your name out. It's how you become a big, important scientist. What did I write for you?
So
You-
I'll basically put on my arm,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I'll like kind of like allow people to like slowly start coming into the office, unless you have something
Yeah,
a little bit before that moment.
go for that. I've got a thing that I can spring on you whenever. It's the best
Okay.
part about being a DM.
Okay, so in my daily planner, I'm supposed to meet with with a gosh with a gnome. Apparently, his ear was torn off during a fight, and
Sure,
I'm
fight.
supposed to. Yeah, so I'm supposed to see how bad the damage is and how quick I can repair it.
Okay.
Um,
So this gnome. Who have I not? Let's go, Shannon. Do you have a favorite, what would I call it? Garment? Like a specific, specific clothing item. It can be like a toque. It can be fingerless gloves. Please don't pick fingerless gloves because that's not a good name. It can
My
be,
favorite garment that I ever had is a vintage kimono jacket.
All right, their name's Kimono. I hope that's okay. Yeah, I think that's okay.
oh,
Yeah. The gnome, you have like their basic information. Their name's Kimono Jacke. Age 31. Issue ear torn off. And there's some like personal notes that Ingrid has detailed because like they've met with the patient to schedule this meeting with you first. And that is your first task of the day, is to reattach an ear.
yes. Basically, I'm reattaching it. So, Kimono Jacke, care to tell me a little bit of what, one, do you actually have like the missing ear, and two, how how did it come away from your body in the first place?
Kimono turns their good ear to you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I think a frog actually took my ear. If you were able to kill the frog, you could retrieve it from its belly. That's what your assistant said.
And they're very confident that you can just
Yeah.
take it from the frog.
Okay. Well, looking from the damage, it's fairly fresh, so I can actually reattach it, and you won't need a prosthetic. Um, it will. God, just my life would be so much more easier if you would have just had the ear with you.
You hear a knock at
Oh.
your door, and
Yes, come in.
Ingrid pops her head in. Oh, hello, Dr. Killian Wild. I just want to let you know that I brought something for you. And she holds up a bag. It's just like a fleshy mass. I just want to let you know that I went frog hunting this morning, and well, I saw something actually quite terrifying. It was like almost like a little ball in a box, but then it had a spider, and I couldn't even pay attention. But I was also spending some time outside, and I happened to find a frog. When I also met Kimono, and then I also got that frog, and I stuck my arm in its mouth, and I was able to retrieve. And just like she zips through her story, which details that she has the ear.
Okay. Well, first of all, Ingrid, you don't need to say my full name. That's one.
Dr. Killian
And-
Wild, I talk to your father that way. I'm going to talk to you that way. I think it's really proper, like I think it'd be excellent if you can call me my full name. It's a really good respect thing. Please, yeah.
Okay. Second, thank you for the ear. I'll talk to my father about getting you a raise or something. you're dismissed now. Thank you.
Oh, yes, I just want to let you know that we have like a last minute appointment. I happened to find something that I think I wanted to bring in so we can analyze it, and I wanted to get your opinion because I think we could do a lot of really important laboratory research with this. Does that sound cool? I can talk to you in about like 10 minutes with it? Because you understood all that, right?
Yeah, give me 15 actually, and let me just work on this ear first, and then I'll come get you.
Okay, great. I have to go run an errand. I'll be right back. I'll talk to you later, Dr. Killian Wild. And
Okay.
she leaves.
Bye. Oh, that woman's gonna give me an aneurysm one day. All right.
Fantastic assistant, though.
Yes, great assistant. Kamano, great news. We have your ear, so we can actually start the process right now, and you should be brand spanking new by tomorrow.
Hold on. Okay.
Oh, thank you. That's brilliant.
They're hella grateful for their ear back, and they like eagerly turn their whole to you.
Yeah. So,
do we want to RP this real quick? Just like I can make you
Do
do a
you
roll. We
really-
can see how great you
do
are.
you really
in it.
want me to like stitch like want to hear the process of me putting an ear?
I
back
want an
together?
act under pressure, and then I want to see if you like. This is probably something you've done. It's reattaching an ear. I don't know anything about ears. I'm sure it's easy.
Okay. Wait, you said under pressure, right? So
Yes,
that's
please.
cool.
Yep.
Okay, cool beans. I got an 11.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, you
Basically-
you do it.
it's real simple. Yeah, it's real simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna once again sterilize the area. I'm going to stitch the ear back into place, and I'm going to add. While this is all happening, I'm dripping a serum so it can like sort of like have the connective tissue kind of like understand each other, so the main body is not rejecting what is kind of supposed to be like the dead skin, the dead leftovers. But luckily, because it's such a fresh, kind of clean cut removal, that it just is able to accept it. And I just check the ears, like the eardrum hasn't been popped, there's no tinnitus going on. I
It's
do all
a
that.
beautiful
It's
ear.
pretty good. Yeah, it's brand spanking new all over again.
Okay.
And time to go.
Oh, wow. You are a great doctor. I'm going to tell all my gnomes about you, and they're always going to come here for ear reattachments.
That's hard.
Thank you. Try not to lose any more bar fights.
It was a bar fight against a frog. I never thought I was going to lose.
Next time, just stick them in the underbelly. They're like dragons. That's their weak point.
They're the same height as me, so yeah, they're like dragons.
We'll send the bill to you later.
They gratefully walk away. All right. I haven't something I have to introduce into your environment in a moment, Norman. So we're gonna pause this scene.
Okay.
Smudge, you've got some swanky rooms at the Order of Sahanin. It's nice. Like your curtains are real fancy. The bed you sleep in, is it like a double two twin beds? Do you guys share a bed? What happens here?
I think I've got like a great big amazing room of amazingness. And then poor Eledwin is stuck in like a cell off to the side, like servants' quarters. I also think that the bed is like this grand four-poster nonsense, and Smudge never actually sleeps in it.
I mean, I do know that you've slept in a garbage pile.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Do you have like a favorite spot in the room to sequester yourself?
I think there's probably a big like a fireplace, and off to the side of the mantle there's like a little nook where the wall kind of comes in at an angle, and Smudge just likes to like squish himself in there and fall asleep.
Does that part have soot in it? Like I don't.
Oh
know
yeah,
the-
definitely.
Oh, great. So it's not uncommon for sooty footprints and body prints to be found around the room. Oh, good. So you are awoken to the sound of clamor, and then eventually the shouts, indiscernible shouts outside of your room.
Ooh. I head over to the door and just like put my ear up, one of the giant ears up against it, and listen to see what I can hear.
You mean you hear shouting? It's a lot of confusion, and nobody's necessarily shouting anything that makes sense to you. It's like, what's happening? What's going on over there? Is everybody okay? Bring more people over here. We need help over here. So it just sounds like a lot of activity. I don't know if Smudge recognizes that daytime activity in the Order is very abnormal. That might be over his head.
I think Smudge is going to notice that all of these people are distracted. And that is a good opportunity to get things done and or cause mayhem. And is going to sneak out via the chimney.
Act under pressure. And I also, depending on the level of success, I'd need a visual of how this happens.
So that is plus, cool. That is a 7.
Ooh. I will let you know what happens when you reach the top, but explain to me, you do make it to the top, but what does it look like?
You know, in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, when the Grinch is sliding down the chimney.
I was hoping that's what you're gonna go with.
Me too.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, okay, so you shimmy, I think is an appropriate term, your way to the top. And the roof is very slick.
Oh.
It hasn't rained, not rain, in the past couple of days. But that slickness causes you to slide down some of the clay shingles, they're clay now, on the roof. And I think I described this as tall-ish because we have a lot of winding staircases. I just need you to give me one more act under pressure. And this is going to determine whether or not you hit another tier or you can catch yourself.
Ooh, that's a 10.
Hell yeah. You catch yourself like a pro. It looks super badass. You slip and slide off those tiles and some of them come falling past you. But your fingertips are clinging on and you're so little pull-ups are nothing to you.
Awesome. So I'm out on the roof and I think I'm going to shimmy down a drain pipe. Okay. And if I pass any windows, I'm going to, as unobtrusively as possible, peek inside them and just see what's going on there.
Absolutely. So are you looking for bedroom windows or hallway windows per se?
Whichever windows I'm passing on the way down.
I think you're first going to pass, as we described, there's a tier of separated windows that wrap around to display the several faces of the moon. And you shimmy and kind of stick yourself to one of the windows. It's worth noticing that you're not just covered in soot right now. As your body is pressed up against this window, you're leaving behind a rather thick red trail on everything that you touch, especially it's on your hands.
A smudge?
Oh.
That's it. Game over.
Perfect.
We're done.
Perfect.
Everybody go home.
Best 3 games ever.
You solved the mystery. That's what it was. A smudge of a mysterious red substance on this otherwise super immaculate window. Like, they have some real good window cleaners here. But yeah, so in the hallway, you see just people, robed, clothed people running back and forth. You catch the glint of some familiar armor, but the angle, you can't tilt yourself anymore on a flat window, so you get a feel that it might be a Ledwin, but you just get like a glimpse of like his toe armor.
Well, can I lick the red stuff? What does it taste like?
It tastes like blood.
Ooh. I lick up some more and then I keep going down the drain pipe.
Tastes like sooty blood.
I look down at myself and make sure I'm okay. Am I okay?
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
What you slipped on outside of that chimney is what got you covered in this substance.
Ooh. I think I'm going to shimmy back up. And
okay.
have a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you do that. I've made you roll a lot of act under pressures. So you're able to climb up, and you just see spatters of blood on, let's say, your mid height for this tiered building. You see it on like the far higher tier, and there's like a drip down the wall there, and it continues, kind of detailing a similar path that you've taken before if you've climbed on these roofs. There's like a nice stair aspect to it, 2 feet high steps, but manageable if you're acrobatic enough. And it's blood everywhere.
I want to see if this will fly with you. I kind of want to go, can Smudge lick a clean patch of the blood, and would he be able to determine anything about the being that it came from via tasting, smelling, etc.?
I will let you investigate what you taste. And that will reveal some information about the specifics of this.
Okay, so that is 7 plus sharp.
Yep.
So 8.
One question. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt? Where did it go? What was it going to do? And what is being concealed here? A lot of good questions.
Where did it go?
This, your tasting of blood isn't perhaps what tells you. As you do you get on all fours to like lick it off the ground? Do you like touch it with your hand? Like what is your process?
For something like this, I think it's like a great big like sniff to really get all of the scent in, and then like a delicate finger and almost like a fine chocolate tasting but blood.
Gross. Great. As you're sampling this blood, you're kind of gazing around, really getting a feel for all those aromatic flavors that surface upon tasting. And as you're scanning the area, you are able to follow the trail of blood, which leads off of the building, and it goes towards... I'm going to make this up. It goes towards one of the docks. We'll say the Kafka is the western dock. Spindrift would be the, eastern dock. So going towards Spindrift dock.
Ooh. I follow the trail rather like a tiny goblinish bloodhound.
All right. Well, I'll let you get to the ground, and then we'll pause.
Okay.
Unless was there? I'll let you complete one more action before reaching the docks. Is where I have to kind of pause the scene.
Are there any frogs around?
There's a handful. There's maybe like 2 just milling about.
Can I hop on top of one and try and ride it to the docks?
Yeah. um.
I never knew I needed this until this very moment.
This is the session where we break Bianca.
Smudge
I
is gonna get
want-
attached to this frog.
You to manipulate them.
Oh no. Oh, that did not. Okay, so that is 7 charm -1. Oh, it's a 6.
So mark experience.
Okay.
Also, Miriam, I hope you marked experience. I think you had a fail. Okay, excellent. What does this conversation look like between you and this frog? And how do they really respond to your request?
I don't think there's a conversation. I think Smudge sees the frog and goes, ooh, and just like runs over to the frog and jumps on its back without any warning and goes, giddy up!
And it rears you off.
And it fucks Smudge right off.
Do you only make one attempt, or is this like a... Do you spend... Go ahead.
I think I try with each of the frogs in the courtyard, and no.
Similar results. They're not particularly violent unless provoked. But these... They don't appreciate you, but they're still just looking for things to eat. You're not quite their size for food yet.
Okay.
All right.
Well, since the frogs are unhelpful, I just give them like a big glare and start skittering off towards the docks.
Aledwin, you've recovered. You're standing. Parts of your plate armor is dented in such a way that like it hurts. Like you've got angles and whatnot poking into your side, poking into your chest. Parts of it have endured very, very well. Your shoulder attachments, for whatever reason, immaculate. That's the term. How you doing?
I mean, I feel like I just fell down 2 flights of stairs.
Well, I wonder why.
I'm gonna place the Aethelkawa on the slowly pull myself up. It's all that core strength.
You do it great. You don't even like use your legs. It's almost just the legs are there to stabilize.
Completely upper body.
The only person that's there to see though is Ivory. She just looks concerned.
Yeah, well. I'm gonna kind of just. Yes, I'm gonna notice everything's bedlam everywhere.
Mm-hmm. People are coming out of their rooms. Everybody's asking everybody else, what's going on? What's happening?
Nobody's
Is everybody
gone up
okay?
the stairs yet.
No. Ivory's gotten the closest and has made it to you, who are at the base of the stairs. And like I said, they just kind of look concerned. She's a little spacey, Ivory.
Ivory, the orb of the heavens has been taken from us.
How can that be? I saw the high priest just moments ago.
Well, his room has been ransacked and destroyed and vandalized.
Are you sure you're well? You've just fallen down some stairs. Perhaps you should go get some rest.
Ever sleep during a concussion?
I can assure you I am quite well at this. I saw all of this happen before I fell down the stairs. Perhaps you can go take a look yourself. I am going to go find the captain of the guard.
You know the captain is very busy with all of those frogs. I don't think you should bother them with our matters. Let me go up. It's gonna take me about 10 minutes, but I will make my way up those stairs. And she starts moving, just at a leisurely pace. She's got little frail legs. It's not easy to walk up all those stairs.
For once, I wish I had Smudge with me. Easier to get things done.
Right.
All right. I guess on that note, I am going to go try to find Smudge because it's I can kind of judge that the sun is unfortunately risen high enough that he is most likely awakened, and I know better than to leave the goblin on his own for too long. And I suppose I'll just absent-mindedly look out the window and I'll just see this goblin running around, hopping on the backs of frogs.
I was gonna find a way to introduce that. Yes. He looks so much more disheveled than normal. Which
Is he covered in the blood?
in soot though, so it's not like
Not obvious.
it's glistening, but it's also sooty. So it's an interesting texture, probably.
All right. I guess I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna go out and grab Smudge, and then my plan is to then return, but we'll see how well that goes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll absolutely let you. Do you? I think narratively, it just makes sense for you to spy Smudge as they're trying to hop on the first frog. And you see them get launched back.
Okay.
As you're exiting the order is when they've made their attempt to hop on the very last frog. And as you see them, he hits the ground. Hopefully he's not winded, but that's for you to decide.
Just angry at the frogs. So,
Chosen, what are you doing?
looking for a noble steed. Follow me. So, and actually, I jump on a Ledwin's back.
There's your steed.
And just completely cover me in soot and blood. And
Yep. And I say, everything that's on me came from the roof, and there's something evil up there. Let's follow that blood trail. Onward.
so then at that point, I'm gonna look up at the. I'm gonna look up there, and I guess I can see the streak.
You would
of
notice the
all-
streaks for sure. Yeah.
All of the skid marks.
Yes.
Oh, that was great. Very visible to you.
And okay, so then Smudge, are you then pointing in the direction of the dock?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to move out with haste. And this carrying thing is a thing we do. So I'm generally used to it. Although you're more uncomfortable than normal because the dents in the back are kind of a little lumpy.
I picture your
Not great.
plate mail. I don't necessarily know like the anatomy of plate mail, but if you had like an extra like brim around your back, that Smudge could just like fit there. You know how like kids have like a
Like
little
shoulder
chair
rags.
and like yeah, your leg just go around your shoulders. Like it's
Sure. It could just be at the top of the cloak,
perfect.
kind
Okay.
of like where the cloak is attached to. There's sort of a brim there that it snaps into or something like that.
But it's dented right now, and your
Yeah, it's
seat
gonna
is
be all,
not
like,
comfy.
warped and very bumpy
Yeah.
as we hurry on over to the dock. All right, so can I make an investigative mystery at this point? 'Cause I'm
Absolutely.
adding into the fray here. That is a 7.
A 7? Okay.
Yeah.
One question.
Okay,
What
so
happened?
We know where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could we determine like what the blood is from?
So what sort of creature is it?
Is it a lot? Is it like okay? So how much blood is it? Is it a lot, like a huge trail, or is it more of like a drippy kind of thing?
On the roof, it's a lot, but once you see the trail that leads towards the dock, it becomes much more minimal, and it's more like the occasional drop.
Okay. Is there a way I could maybe try to determine if it's like more of a dragging kind of trail or like a limping kind of trail? Like, is that like a what happened here kind of question? Maybe?
Yes, that's
We'll
the
do that one.
question.
We'll do that one.
You, with smudge on your shoulders, you look back and you take in the full scene of the Order and this multi-tiered, multi-towered building with its beautiful winding staircases. You take a look at the normally pristine, like stone sun-bleached white building, and you know where the very top tier, the window is not necessarily facing your line of vision, but along that spire, there's a streak of blood that slides down, and it's a smudge. And then that same reoccurring, dragging, bloody kind of smear is what you can determine. So you do get a feel that whoever was injured has been dragged along the building, and it's not like a clean streak. There's definitely parts where you get a feeling that whoever was being dragged struggled a little bit. And then by the time that they reached the edge of the building and hopped down towards, we'll say, like the side of the building, so it's not in front of it. On the side of the building, once again, like there's a couple spatters of blood. But beyond that, it's just like scuffed footprints and the occasional drop. Maybe they tended to the wounded. Maybe the wounded didn't have enough blood. Who knows?
So we're not sure if they're alive or dead at the point of reaching the ground. It's just that there's less blood.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at this point, then we're gonna head to the dock because no time to waste.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm like freaking out that this could be the high priest, but I'm trying to be very calm, so not.
Your high priest is hella old too. Like whatever old is for elves, that's their age.
Yeah. And despite their immortality, elves do age. They do become frail. The most radiant bow is not exactly what I would call a strapping fighter. So yeah, we're gonna head to the dock, following the trail as best we can. So at this point, is there like bystanders?
Yeah.
Civilians kind of
So there is a route that you would eventually kind of walk onto, like the main road that will take you to the Spindrift docks. They're like pretty well traveled. You've got merchants, you've got like regular civilians. There's a contingent of honorary city watch people, but it's just like volunteer citizens wearing like
for the daytime.
They're just helping out, trying to take care of all the frogs. So it's relatively busy right now.
Okay. Do we see so like we can see the trail go all the way to the docks?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a short distance, or is it a fair? Like, do we have to move quite a bit?
I'd say it's about a
to this?
10-minute walk, whatever
Okay.
that is in traveling distance. But it's not on the main road. Main road, you can see it's maybe 100,
Right, it's
20 feet
off.
away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because dragging a body through the be a pretty
Not
terrible
ideal.
way to kidnap somebody. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll just follow it, and I'm going to ignore all of the stairs. Try my best to just walk
The
with
sight
the air.
of the elven man in armor with the dirty creature on top is
Doing
not
a royal
abnormal.
queen wave, king wave.
A couple of children wave back excitedly to you.
Oh.
But most people know better than to ignore you and to keep a wide berth, just because they've experienced your
Aroma.
aroma. And nobody enjoys it. So your trek to the docks is otherwise pretty uneventful. You know, nobody even wants to make eye contact with the strange man carrying the creature.
Yeah, I'm just used to this at this point.
So sad.
At least it's the daytime, so none of my peers have to witness it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll reach the dock. Can we tell if, I guess, I'm thinking one of two things has happened. Either they were put on a boat and taken away, or they were thrown into the water. Neither is a good thing, but one might be easier to figure out than the other.
How would you like to... So, No More Blood on the Docks. I feel like that's a band name. Not a band I would listen to. It's busy. Sailors, fisher people, working people, working about. Some are shirtless, some aren't. Everybody looks strapping and sweaty and covered in water. It's great there.
Okay. Is it shallow, or is it? This is a dock for ships or for like rowboats?
For ships.
Okay, so it's quite deep then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last time I went in the water, it didn't go so well. Does Smudge? Do you swim? Can you swim? I know you don't like getting wet. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
There's your answer.
God, if I
Right.
was there, I would've
Well,
fucking
I
jumped water.
can swim. I just will need to take off all the armor.
I want to add, I think Smudge for sure can use magic. So magic is a weird thing in Monster of the Week. There are specific classes that have very specific magical moves, but the world itself is magically imbued. If there is a task that you want to accomplish with a magical item, we can spin it. I will just make you roll to use magic. So it can literally blow up in your face, or it can be helpful. But Smudge, Faryad, I have to double check Ledwin's character sheet. I think you can. Yeah, you can literally use magic. You heal.
Yeah, I mean, like lay on hands is my. And I've got a couple of other like magical
specific spells
abilities, but in terms of actually using magic for the game rules, I have a -1, so it's not something I'm too keen on. And also, Eledwen believes that magic should only, and abilities and all that stuff should only be used when necessary. That's why I didn't Angel Wings myself, the Smudge, when I saw him. I just actually walked out the door because like that's a waste of divine power.
I like that. Okay. Well, Smudge, just keep it in the back of your mind. Yeah.
If Ledwin is pausing to figure out his next move, Smudge is going to make a beeline for the fishermen who are like gutting and cleaning their catch. And is going to go over to them.
Okay, there's 4 of them around a table, one working on the fish, one sorting through the haul, and the other 2 are putting fish on ice.
Okay. And I'm going to go, we think that someone was dragged here. Did you see them?
The man gutting the fish turns around startled. Oh,
Also, can I have a fish?
is your mother around? Should you be out here?
Yeah, he's over there. Can I have a fish?
Can you pay for this? We're gonna sell it to the merchants who are waiting. And he gestures to like some richly dressed folk in the back.
I'm gonna walk up with my wallet and start.
As soon as I see that, I just take a fish and like stuff it in my mouth.
I believe this will cover it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. And to answer your child, no, haven't seen any. What did you say, little person?
Someone being dragged, or just someone with like lots of blood on them.
I mean, the docks are kind of saturated with fish blood here and there, but
yeah, it smells great.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, it smells like work. And he takes a deep, deep breath of the fishy aroma.
Smudge turns to Ledwin and goes, well, I'm out of ideas.
So yeah, I think at this point, I'm, yeah, either they went on a boat or they've been dropped into the water. I'm assuming this has happened. The blood is wet, but has it coagulated?
Now it started to.
Okay, so it's
On Smudge.
was not super recent, but not old either. If they were thrown in the water, I mean that was it, unless there was a sea elf or something.
That's it. Good knowing you.
Well, they could float.
Not if they had cinder block shoes. Or they were taken on. I mean, the fact that there's blood tells me that either there was a struggle or they're not actually supposed to remain alive. So I have to be sure. So I'm going to attempt to remove my armor, which is going to be exceedingly difficult since it's all dented and bent in ways it's not supposed to be.
Okay. I want you to read a bad situation for me. And this is just going to kind of be an analysis of the scene using all the information that you've culminated thus far. Also with the intent that your goal right now is you want to look in the water?
Yeah, I mean, I want to ideally like go down and see if I can, like, around the docks, which actually now that I think about it is super dangerous.
There are still monsters.
Yeah, I want to go down there and at least try to discern if if I can. Well, I mean, if there's a corpse, I mean that pretty much tells me what I need to know. But we need to know whether they were offloaded to a boat or if they were just simply thrown in with weight or something like that. Because if they were thrown in, then this will solve the problem. If they were on a boat, then at that point we're gonna have to go from there. So read a bad situation is.
I'm torn between now the two: investigate a mystery or read a bad situation.
Well, they're both sharp.
Yeah.
I got an 8, so you can tell me which one of those is the better option.
Well, with read a bad situation, there's kind of like what's the best way in, what's the best way out, which I could offer up information on. What's most vulnerable to me? What is the biggest threat? That's a good one too. But then there's also like questions in investigate a mystery that might lend some clues. You said you got an 8?
Yeah, I got an 8. I don't know if I could like pray for guidance or something.
Is that a move?
Not really. I mean, it kind of is, but I don't have it.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is a little, well, maybe not. You said so Smudge, if Eledwin is also trying to do any moves, you can help out.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't count though, because it won't really do anything to help. Yeah, pick a question out of either investigate a mystery or read a bad situation, because you're using your brain power to do both.
Yeah, I'm not Gwyn, so this isn't my main area of expertise, but let's go with I don't know, can I do like what happened here again, but like specifically to the dock?
Yeah.
In regards to the blood? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. I can give you a half answer or I can give you a full answer. If I give you a full answer, I want Smudge to give me... Honestly, we're gonna homebrew this a bit. Smudge, I want you to give me a help out. Your helping will be, you're gonna be tasting the docks, testing some fish blood, some other blood, and some other blood to be able to guide Eledwin a little bit more.
Cool. That is a total of 10.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Just munching on raw fish with one hand.
Like I said, we're just gonna, I want to be able to tell you the information, but I have to create a narrative way to kind of justify it a little bit. So Smudge is able to, they've tasted some fish blood. If he licks the dock over here, it tastes like fish guts. If he licks the dock over here, It tastes like the same blood that was in the order that you had tasted previously.
Eddie, this isn't fish.
It is on, I don't know dock terms. The spot where like boats line up. That's where he was licking the blood.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep. Thanks. Where your boats go and where the docks go, so you can get off into the dock.
So
like,
it's not the end of the dock. It's like the sides where the posts are and everything.
yes, yeah, where you tie your boat.
Yeah.
Boat terms.
So that would lead me to think that if they were going to throw them in, they would have done it on the end. So they probably went on a ship.
Correct.
Okay. So we need a boat. Well, actually, you said this was towards Spindrift Isle.
Yes, which is much farther than Lakafka.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'm going to want to return to the Order and report this, and then try and see if what Ivory has determined, because I'm not sure I trust her at this point.
You gave her the best name. Okay, so we'll pause. Faryad, you spent the better part of 30 minutes as a paperweight. Everdell has finally got up to go to the washroom, though.
I'm going to quickly dash under the table.
Okay.
Like, if there, like how there's a place to sort of stick your legs in and kind of sit. I'm going to be just there, curled up, just looking up, waiting for Gwyn to show up.
Okay, Gwen, you've torn out all the pages from the books. You've got some information on the apocalypse now. Can you give me a random generator? Give me a read a bad situation.
Okay. Oh no.
But based off the result of your roll, I'm gonna fill in some information depending on what I can give you.
Okay. Can I potentially use my? Oh wait, no. Hold on. Never mind. I don't need to use that. So yes, that is a. What's my sharp? It's a 2, so that's 9.
Nice. Okay. So instead of asking, your analysis of the situation being the apocalypse, in the current tier of the apocalypse that you have the most control to resolve, based off of your research, is the frogs. And amidst that research, you had come across some old information that detailed various methods to exterminate these frogs. And all of the novels and all of the journals and research documents that were specifically about the extermination of insert creature are all published by somebody in the Wild family.
Perfect. That tracks. No, that tracks.
Yeah. So
right.
to enact that, what routes you have to take.
Great. Is it a person I know, or is it somebody who's like probably long gone?
Super dead.
Okay, super dead.
Yeah.
Great. So, I guess I would take that information, a couple pages out of books I needed, and I would be like, well, I guess I'm going to go visit Gillian. So.
That book was real old, too. I hope you feel
good.
a little bit more guilty than normal for that one.
Yeah. It's like this combination of guilt for hurting the books that I love so much, and a little bit of spite because I'm annoyed at my dad. So this combination.
He basically doesn't believe in climate change.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Well then, that's the. I would then take the. Sorry.
You're good.
People are back. I would start heading out of the library then, and I would start going to Killian's
Okay.
spot. Yeah.
Farid, you probably know what what Gwen's feet look like. So there's like
I grab it as
Oh my God.
as I see her going. Like,
Oh
"Wait."
no. Oh God. Hi. Okay. What's happening?
It's like a koala.
Yeah.
They're
I'm sure the
strapped
librarian's
to you
like,
now.
shut up.
So I didn't want to freak everybody out, so I rolled into the library, and then Everdell almost got me, so I became a possum, and then I came here, and I don't know what to do. I was thinking about the little boy, and we should figure out a way to save the little boy. So I came looking for you, and then I almost ran into someone with lab coats. You know how I feel about lab coats? And then I
I
came
do.
here, and then I tried to bowling ball into where I needed to go, and I basically repeat the story again, and then I'm almost about to repeat it again.
Okay. I think I got it. I have definitely forgotten all about that kid. I've been very busy.
And I definitely these big, like, really?
Like not entirely, but the apocalypse has been a little bit big, so I've kind of been focusing on that. You're right. No, you're right. We do need to focus on that as well. Okay, I needed to go talk
Still
to
attached to
Killian.
your leg.
Okay. I'm patting you on the head.
Like my arms are sort of like glued together, so it's like, you know how you have the ball at the end of a chain, but the ball's basically attached to your
Yes. Absolutely.
That's great.
How heavy are you?
Good
the
question.
size of a 10-foot child. Like, sorry, not 10-foot child, 10-year-old child.
10-foot child.
Real fucking tall.
Oh Lord.
I meant
That would be a
10-year-old
very
child.
tall child.
So,
Yes.
probably maybe around the weight of Smudge, maybe just a little heavier.
Oh, I think she froze on us.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're good.
So I would well, first, if you can get off my leg, that'd be great.
I immediately just sort of like my arms unglue.
I'll pat you on the head again and say, okay, first we need to go talk to Killian. I need to ask him a few questions. And then maybe we will go look into some leads for...
What are you gonna do about Everdell? I don't know if they're gonna scream, but you know how it is when people see me for the first time. Like, you know, this morning I was just minding my own business, and then this lab technician came in, and then I proceed to narrate the events of the
the
entire
whole...
Oh gosh.
Okay, yes, I'll hold up my hand and try and stop you. Be like, yes, of course. You're with me. It's fine. This is basically my library. It's okay.
Okay.
And I'll kind of grab your hand and walk you out. Just kind of wave and be like, it's fine. Before Everdell can even react.
They do, like, they're like coming out of the bathroom, like still drying. Did I make it?
And I just sort of
Whatever.
like a doll just freeze, like,
They don't connect. Like, they're like, they just give you a look, but they by no means connect the paperweight with this now
Okay,
doll
great.
of the same color. It's just like,
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
all right. So you head towards the Wild Laboratories.
Yes.
Also, I never put that together. Wild Laboratories. I like it.
Wild party.
Yeah.
Basically, think of Star Labs from The Flash. That's basically how it works.
Great.
and
From-
as we're entering, I start kind of like.
I know. I got you.
Are you
Man,
still?
I'm really not liked.
Why?
It's not you.
It's the lab as a whole, not you particularly.
I mean, if you want, you don't have to go in with me, but I'll make sure I'm with you the whole time.
I reluctantly go along because it's either that or have people on the street screaming at me.
I'll keep holding your hand to make sure that you don't get separated.
But I go from like a very loud growl to this like barely perceptible growl.
I love it.
Okay.
All right. Are you familiar with the layout of the lab? Like, you've been here before, right, Gwen?
Yeah, absolutely. I've probably visited Killian several times.
Okay, excellent. So
Yeah.
you're able to navigate with relative ease through all the hallways. There's a lot of hallways. Like, what is a laboratory without hallways? Many ominously marked doors, some hallways that actually go nowhere. But this place is designed very, very intently. So with only maybe one or two false turns, you do arrive at the double-doored, marked... What is the name of your lab, Killian?
Oh, my lab.
Did you give it? I couldn't remember. I thought you did.
I think I gave it a name.
Sent me names and have not written them down.
No, I only gave the guild name Gray Matter.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's not the Wild Laboratories.
It's
the Wild
Grey Matter.
Laboratories are a part of the Grey Matter Guild, which the Grey Matter Guild is a guild with the mission of learning lots.
It's to achieve science.
Yes.
Achieve science. Just make it easier on yourself. But me,
Science,
please.
that's the guild. Science Guild.
Yeah.
Where science happens.
Excellent. Yeah, so
Yes.
you knock on... So sorry, Faryad, where are you positioned on Gwen?
I almost have a death grip. Like, you notice at this point, your hand is a glove made of me.
Incredible. I was gonna say I just picture like a giant thing on my hand. That's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And anytime you move, you see my hand stretch up and down.
Which is great because I think she gestures a lot, so it would be like you just have like this stretching like arm.
So concerning. You don't have to knock on the first doors. They're just kind of like the push through doors. So sorry, actually, I think I'm mistaking Killian's office with his lab. Do you want to go to the lab or do you want to go to his office?
I might stop by his office first because I don't know if I would know where he is at the time.
Okay, no, that tracks.
Yeah.
So one thing, as we get closer to walking into sort of a lab thing, for a moment, you see the arm just elongating as I'm moving, and then I rubber band to it because there's only so much I can stretch.
Oh, no.
So sad.
That's so great.
I think the stretching motion was made as Gwen was getting ready to push through the push doors, and the slingshot kind of shoots one of the doors open and it slaps against the wall. And that startles the assistant inside, who is set up at a very picture I don't know what it is in English. Those little school desks that you had that were like so small. You have
with
like
the little like round,
like the cutout to fit like
yes,
you have enough space for like one paper, your pencil, and like those gross erasers.
Yep.
And she can like
In
she's
my
got,
existence.
like, one arm. She's not well off. I know you said you wanted to give your assistant a raise, but you should probably do it sooner than later.
What?
just get her a desk.
I like to think that with like the amount of funding that I get through, she would have a proper desk.
She's never asked you for one. She's very humble. Maybe she's asked you, but you, in the tumble of words that she kind of vomits at you, maybe you just haven't caught it.
Okay. So let me pencil in, get her a desk.
Please do. She'd be very grateful. Ingrid looks up at the slam of the double doors that hit the wall, and her eyes go wide as she sees Faryad's body kind of pull itself back to the comfortable form where they were just kind of chilling like a glove. And you see her, it's a slow reaction. Her eyes get wide and she starts to lean back, push her desk forward, and start shaking her head. No, that's not real. There's no way I can actually see that. Can you believe that that's an actual, that is an abomination. We can't have anything like that here. Oh my gosh, I have to.
Ingrid, it's fine. I'm with them. It's fine.
I look up and I just look at you, Gwen, and I'm like, I told you.
I know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I just need to go see Killian, and Faryad's coming with me. So
Ingrid took off before.
Great.
Before anybody could really get a lot out. She bursts into Killian's office. Killian, are you in the office?
Yes, I and I'm
What were
still
you working on?
um. So I have like a little whiteboard on the side that I was figuring out an equation for because I wanted to see how I could see if how I could better conduct um the kinetic force of one thing to another without it like bouncing off onto me because I not in game. I've been watching Black Panther again, and I'm really into the idea of like how Zerdy was able to
Suri
get the
is
suit
my
to
favorite.
like to like get the suit working. So I was trying to like come up with an idea how I could retrofit that into Ledwin's armor because I know he's gonna be like super tired of constantly getting his armor dented in all the damn time.
I mean, you don't necessarily know that it's been dented, but you were there for his terrible experience with drowning.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to basically try to figure out how to improve his armor, whether it be like a better flotation device or having it to absorb energy and maybe to shoot it back out or small things like that. I'm I'm trying to like improve everyone's stuff
Okay.
without them knowing.
That's so nice of you.
Right? It's like, turns out Killian actually has a heart in there. That's really sweet.
Deep down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut that down real quick.
Like the Grinch, it's starting to grow a few sides.
Give it until like episode 20, then it'll be the size of a normal heart.
I mean,
There we
nobody
go.
dies by then, but yeah.
I also just love that that's the second Grinch reference we've made today.
Looking for one more. We got it.
Okay.
Trick.
We'll find it. Ingrid bursts in, and you can't even understand anything that she's saying, but all you hear is the word abomination. There's an abomination over and over and over again.
Ingrid, I'm gonna need you to shut up. I'm sorry. I don't want to use that tone with you, but relax.
Oh
breathe.
no, Dr. Killian White, I think I'm okay. I'm having a hard time trying to catch my breath because of that abomination back there. They were terrifying.
Yes,
Can you
yes,
imagine
yes,
if there's
I
an
know
actual
what the
abomination
abomination
because we have the
is.
apocalypse
I know what
that's
the
happening and all the
abomination
frogs are
is.
falling from the
Yes,
sky?
yes. Listen. I know what the abomination is. Let them in my office. It's fine. Just tell them that I'm here. And my God, just get yourself a cup of tea and
More caffeine?
stay outside. No caffeine. You don't
Herbal
need any
tea.
more caffeine. Just some regular tea and relax. I will handle the rest of this on my end. And you still have to talk to me about this proposition that you wanted to come to me about. So after I'm done with them, you can come to me later about what you want to discuss.
Oh, yes. Dr. Killian Wilde, I'm just gonna go bake some tea. And she slowly starts to back away. She does have to travel through the waiting room, and she just like speed walks by you. She doesn't even look. Gwen, hold it with Faryad, because that's just too much.
Okay, bye, Ingrid. Nice to see you.
The door is left open to Killian's office.
I walk in. Sorry about that.
It's fine.
I close the door behind us so that we have privacy.
You hear the low hum of Faryad's sound
Stress.
just kind of permeating the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that sort of cat warning growl where it's
Yeah,
just
the
like
deep-
low,
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the sound.
where
We're not
you're not
gonna-
sure if it's a purr or it's a growl, but the rest of their body tells you that it's a growl, not a purr.
We're not going to stay too long. I don't think Faryad's too happy here. I pull out a bunch of the pages, especially from the books that were from whoever the wild ancestor was. And I'll take those all out and I'll kind of pass them to Killian and just say, so I found all of these written by someone in your family a long time ago about the apocalypse. Do you know anything about any of these? They're particularly about getting rid of the frog infestations.
So would I roll something to like see these notes better so I can get a better understanding? Or...
I'm double checking your what kind of benefits do you reap from having like your lab, your holding cell, just that you have a place to do science? Because
Yeah, so as you know earlier, when I was fixing the gnome's ear, that was in the surgical room. The examination room, wait, hold on, let me get this over. Take it apart all the time. Uh, for the examination room and holding cell, not so much, but uh,
oh, there it
I,
is. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
This is more for medical understanding than more for like knowledge studying. But I like to think that
Should have took that
while in
ritual
my
workshop.
during when I level up, I'll take it in as well. Most likely, what ended up happening is I like to think during my studies, I like to think that I looked at my ancestors' work to sort of like use part of my higher education and sort of basing what my thesis were on certain things as well as improving where they kind of went wrong. So I like to think that, oh, this is from my descendant Oscar Wilde. It's fine. I know what these are.
Was Oscar
Yes.
Wilde a particularly good poet?
Yeah. This is kind of how he got his multiple wives.
Yeah.
We're like that. But listen, we're not gonna go into that. Yeah, I know what these are
Mm.
for the most part. It
Can
may
you
take me a bit
give
of time to
me?
decipher them.
I want you to read a bad situation just because I'm really enjoying this as like a literal reading thing. Um, and if depending on your role, I can either give you 1, 2, or 3 of the ingredients necessary, like information on the ingredients necessary to be able to conduct this mass extermination.
Okay, and I'm adding my plus sharp to it, right?
Yes.
Whoops, hold on, I fucked up.
Reroll.
Nice, double sixes. So that's a 14.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, damn, without even having to read Oscar Wilde's journal.
I regret nothing.
It's perfect. It's brilliant.
They were a great scientist too, as well as a poet. You need, oh god, what monster games have I played recently where I can pull words? Frog bile. Hemsworth root, or hemlock, sorry. Sorry, not
I was like,
Hemsworth,
Chris
the actor.
Hemsworth root? I want some of that.
Hemlock root.
Hemlock root.
And
Okay.
who haven't I asked yet? Gwen, Carly, what is your favorite flower?
Lilacs.
Okay. And pureed lilacs.
It's to combat the smell of the frog bile.
Yeah. It also makes a nice blend. So depending on like the lilac color you have, it just looks a little bit more appealing when you put it in your vials or
Sure.
however you do.
Okay.
So those are the 3 ingredients necessary to workshop into the... I'll let you decide the distribution method, be it liquid, aromatic, solid, whatever you see fit. I just like Killian's mini quest will be to amass this, and party members are more than welcome to work together.
I can see other frogs.
I'm super efficient about this for some reason. I do not want to like drag it out. So, but
That's
I'll
why if
probably
one person can accomplish one thing, I think we can speed it up.
yeah. So I'll probably just putting it water through the water system and
Oh, that's what you
have
wanna.
the
Okay.
frog, have the frogs basically like drink it, so they'll just like basically leave or. But that's the more nicer term. They're just gonna all die about it. They do that.
What about non-frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So, fun
the other
fact,
thing.
hemlock is an actual plant, and it is tasteless, odorless, and scentless, and it kills real good.
Okay, let me
Um,
rephrase that then.
Hemlock's my favorite plant.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so
It's basically iocane powder.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
It's great. All natural.
Yeah, all natural.
I got
No
another
GMOs.
idea.
Organic.
That's the
about this?
buzzword.
You know those exterminators that like come to kill like the weeds and that you hire? Just literally strap on a backpack of them on the like volunteers and just have them like shoot it at the frogs so the people themselves don't get ingested with them because the volunteers will be having like hazmat masks on. It'll be a lot easier to like have a control system, and there you go. All frogs are dead. No humans or other creatures have been fully affected. I would like to at least collect.
Yes.
Wait, I feel like I've collected a couple of those frogs at least. They should be like in my holding cell. So I
You
could, in
know
order in
that
my examination.
this requires fresh ingredients and has to be used within 2 hours of being produced. It's very
Okay.
specific, and it is to kill. I had a name for these frogs, but I lost my notes. I think they were called like grows or something. Growlers. They're called growlers. They're basically a drink.
Like the pitchers?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So do they growl?
When aggravated, instead of croaking, they do growl. You never noticed it with the little baby ones when you were smushing. You didn't hear any growling sounds, but this morning you woke up to a couple.
Well, they were kind of dead by the time you squish them.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so who would like to do what? You all know that in order to accomplish this task, you require pureed lilacs, frog bile,
And
and
hemlock.
hemlock. Yes.
I can
So-
help with the frogs or the hemlock.
Yeah, you would be the best probably for the frogs. I can help with probably the lilac. I can take care of that.
Okay, perfect. So we'll try to like resolve this, as quickly as possible. Hopefully nobody dies along the
Sure.
way. But that's the fun of the game.
It's a little easy though.
So Faryad,
It's
you
so funny.
have to collect frog bile. Tell me, what is their method? Keep in mind, bile is the stuff inside their stomach.
Okay, so I had two ideas. One is to stick my hand down their throat and literally just pull out the stomach.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
That's a good
Um,
like a way to hold it too.
Yep. And I'll probably just take a bag or a couple of jars, like nice big jar to kind of get it all in. Yeah, I think I'll just go with that first.
Okay. Let's act under pressure. Let's see how stressful it is to reach into a frog. And like again, these frogs turn aggressive when aggravated.
I'm thinking mayhem, but perhaps.
Okay, if you want to use weight,
So can I go with why? Oh no, that's not for me. That's for the next hunter. But you know what? I'll do it anyways for the next hunter. Is I say, well, I'm gonna give them an upset stomach, and I walk away.
Oh.
+1 for Killian and Gwen. Great one-liner.
Ooh, that's really good. I got so with cool, that is a total 12.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you accomplished this task surprisingly easy. Like, the frog is relatively docile for someone yanking out their stomach. Walk me through. What does that look like? What does it feel like?
So I walk up to the frog. It stares at me. I stare at it. There's this literal, like, almost like those
Is it it's very tense.
spaghetti western sort of thing. There's
Yep.
like the two looking.
Spigot
And then
bastard.
my hand just kind of stretches right into their mouth, into wherever I sort of feel their stomach is. And then I just rip it out and put it in the jar.
It's a strangely successful task. Here.
They croaked.
Yeah. Why are you on my stream? Get off. I can't handle these puns.
You're fired.
I think it's brilliant. Don't let them tell you otherwise.
Variad for the win.
Oh.
Yeah, they've croaked. Did you make like a scoopy hand? Like, were you just scooping up the bile? Did you grab like the stomach lining? I don't
Oh,
necessarily
I just
know.
picked the entire stomach.
Sure. Okay.
Just
I have to
literally
eat
the
after
entire
this.
stomach.
Right. Blech.
Yeah, you're able to seal it in the jar. Give me a brief color array of the colors inside of this jar, please. Just detail some bright spots
Definitely
that you might
yellows
see.
and greens. And a little pink, maybe. I don't know what colors frogs are when they bleed. So
That's
a
it's on
little
you.
bit
It's a monster frog, so you make it
Oh,
out.
okay. So again, shades of green and yellow.
Okay. Traditional
These
bile
little
colors, probably.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, for expedition's sake, Gwen, where are you finding these lilacs? Because they gotta be fresh and
Yeah.
pureed.
Yes. I would probably go, having grown up on the island and everything, I would probably know kind of generally if there's like a place that's a little more gardeny than others, and potentially, again, with a little bit of spite, going to my parents' house where there's maybe a garden out back and just yanking a few of those flowers out.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Are you trying to avoid your parents?
Yes.
Okay.
After the last conversation, yes.
That's fair. Give me an act
I
under
just don't-
pressure. Let's see, like,
Okay.
how are you sleuthing around to steal these flowers? Are you picking, like,
Yes.
obvious spots? Like, are there going to be gaping flower beds, but there's no more lilacs?
Yes. I
Okay.
also can I also use my I've read about this sort of thing, which is where I use sharp instead of cool for accurate.
Absolutely.
Great.
Is there like a logbook for this garden so that people can note what's been used for what?
I feel like
They
that
probably-
sounds accurate.
10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you set out what you want to do. So yeah, your parents are home, but you do know, like, they're very scheduled. So you know who is doing what at what time, and you're able to visit the garden at a time where they are both far enough away, and even if they walked back, you know, in an emergency, you would have enough time to sneak away with your lilacs in tow.
Yes. Good.
How do you puree them?
I think, my brain originally said blender, but that's not real in this world. So, I feel like probably a mortar and pestle.
Hell yeah.
I would use that and
Okay.
just go at it.
All right. So we leave Gwen inside of. Are you back at Killian's office? Are you in his?
Yes, I would probably be in the office,
Okay.
not the lab. Yeah.
It's super cute. I'm just picturing you just like mortar and pestle in a way. It's completely alone until
Oh,
Faryad comes
perfect.
back with her jar
Yeah.
of guts.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Killian,
Yes.
how are you getting the most poisonous plant on the island?
Well, I normally wait. Where do normally hemlock growths grow? Hemlock roots grow.
Near water. They're often here. I'm not real facts about this plant, so don't repeat this to others, please. This is the fantasy
Yeah,
facts. They're
Fantasy
gonna
facts.
grow along the shoreline, but you have to dig under the sand or whatever earth is there. And they have like a system of roots. Occasionally, you can see they're lily pads on the ground, but they're just the lily pads are pointless. They're not the poison part. The roots are the poison part.
So probably what I'll end up doing is with a shovel and some shears, I'll probably end up going down there and I'll just like start digging until I hit the roots of the matter. And um, with uh, with a jar, I'll just start snipping away with the shears and just start collecting them one by one. Luckily, I came prepared with some gloves, so I don't have to like directly touch them. And I just started stacking. I actually ended up taking more than I should, only as a just in case of this kind of persists.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, I might have to end up doing this again. So
Does Killian wear glasses? Goggles? I know they have
just
goggles on their head.
yeah, I ended up putting my goggles over my face this time around. So
Okay.
like,
I still do want an act under pressure. It's just won't be as severe. So like this root is very liquidy and juicy. And those who extract it always run the risk of contact with any exposed skin. And the way I picture your character, like you've got your lab coat, you've got your goggles on your face, but like you still have parts of your face, your neck, that in between. When you're wearing gloves and your coat, if you reach out too far, you've got that exposed skin. We just want to make sure you're not about to die.
alright. I got a 10.
Good. You're not dead. You're great. You set out to accomplish what you wanted to do. Yeah, you've done this before. You know how to position yourself. Like if you cut it away from your face, the juices are gonna do their biz on that side, and you know how not to come in contact. You've witnessed, you've done experiments on creatures to get the full scope of what hemlock root does, and it is not pretty. So you've taken all the right precautions in order to secure this item.
It's one of the many things used in the poison inside of my axe in the first place. So yeah.
I like that. Okay, so everybody has returned back to Killian's office. So now it's on Killian. What? How do you want to mix and mash?
So
And please not in the
what?
water. Don't kill the human. Don't kill the civilians.
No. This isn't gonna be Flint, Michigan. We'll be fine. What I'm gonna end up doing is in a beaker. I'm putting everything together. Is this heat? Is this heat treated or no? I don't think I've asked that because I was
Is
gonna the solution of mixing the frog bile, the hemlock root, the puree lilac all
I will give
together.
you
Like,
creative reign over this. Just like summarize how you've created the substance and distributed it.
okay, so what ended up happening was I put it all together. I used heat to basically melt it and have it combined all together in a mass quantity, and then in exterminator's bag version, just handed it to both Fire and Gwen so they can just start, put spraying all the frogs without any of the civilians being affected.
Is it a gas? Is it a liquid?
That's a gas. Well,
gas.
it's a liquid that when
Like
you
the
push
spray
it through,
nozzles?
Vapor?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So when you push it through, it turns
The
into the
weed.
gas.
Yeah, weed killer.
Weed killer sort of style.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just makes everything a whole lot easier. So just you spray it on them, and they basically go away.
Frogs absorb things through their skins. That makes sense.
Ah, logic behind this.
Mhm.
Okay.
Science did teach me.
I hope it isn't water soluble so that it goes into the ground water and then become problematic. But hand
We'll
wave.
deal with that when we get there.
So,
I fixed the frog problem.
yes. I'm learning how to work with my time better. So what we're gonna do right now is, I want to close this specific scene, and this is gonna take, if you accomplish it and there's no casualties, you are able to decimate the frog population using the methods that you've accomplished. I am trying to think of the best way for like a group role.
Well, we kind of all didn't fully interact, did we? This time around.
You're all the way you explained it was everybody's gonna walk out with their little nozzle shooter of weed killer, frog killer. So it's almost like the task of this extermination is put on for the sake of the role. We'll see how successful we are. If you want to contract any of the volunteer civilians who were helping out with the City Watch, because they were spearing frogs left and right.
Yeah, well, that was like
Anyways,
the original plan as well. Well, not the original plan, but that was like part of the plan as well, to have them do it as well, because I still want to try to focus on, one, me being framed, and two, where's this child?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted like to pawn off the work onto them.
okay. I still need. Okay, so here's how we're gonna make this a group role. From Faryad, Gwen, and Killian, I need one person to act under pressure and 2 help outs.
Uh,
I wish I could like have a difficulty rating for this, because like this would be something
Considering
difficult.
it's somewhat poisonous, and since it seems to be a lot of things don't affect me as much, I could volunteer to do the spraying itself.
Less consequences if you don't roll properly. I think, because I can't assign difficulty ratings to tasks, but like if there was something that yields the most potentially negative results, it would be this kind of action. So I'm gonna make a DM decision, and I need a 12 plus for a perfect success. On a 10, there will be less to mild consequences, and anything less, we'll talk.
Oh no.
The worst things you can hear. We'll talk.
Okay.
There will be deliberations.
And that's based on a roll, one person's roll and 2 help outs, or that's
Yes.
first base. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the help out?
That'll be on a plus cool.
Okay.
Well, I have
need-
no cool.
Same.
That's not.
I need
Work.
both of you to get.
Would this count for my the same skill I used earlier where I can use I've read about this sort of thing, roll plus sharp instead of plus cool for act under pressure?
Let me double check how that works.
Yeah.
There's a Powered by the Apocalypse thing that I have to double check. I believe with these type of pages, I think that you only get to do the move once per
Gotcha.
session or per
Cool.
mystery. But I don't know that.
It doesn't say that anywhere, but I will do whatever you deem
Well,
fit.
so I'll let you use it for this time, and I'm gonna make
Okay.
a note to research that.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay, the apocalypse. Okay,
Cool.
plus cool. So what? Let's start with the most important role of this potential session. Faryad,
Yikes.
have you murdered all of Lendor accidentally?
Oh no. So would you like me to roll my cool?
Act under pressure, please. Yes.
Okay.
How cool are you?
Too cool for school.
You're
Really
making
good.
faces.
So without any extra bonuses of people helping me out,
You do get.
my roll as a total is 6.
Okay. Did anybody utilize? Oh no, you don't get your own buff. Okay. But Gwen and Norman, I'm sorry, you had that buff that I forgot to give to everybody in the previous roll. So if you want to add your +1 for Faryad's one-liner,
Sure.
you can add it to your help out.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll roll it. 7.
Okay.
I got a 10. Well, plus the help out, 11.
Okay, and so sorry, Faryad, you had
A 6 total
6.
without any help.
That becomes 7, 8. Okay, so we'll handle this in tiers. So 8 total on the act under pressure. You are able to you've contracted, you've hired or assemble all the civilians around Lendor who were previously helping the City Watch. Even like the guard of the City Watch is like, yeah, like the Wilds, we trust you. The Gwen, what's your last name? Vissen? It's on the Discord or the
Visan.
Bison. The city folk are like, yeah, like we trust the Visons. Like you two seem to know what you're doing. So they happily follow you. They help herd all of the frogs into like an open area, probably around the guild. There seems to be a lot of space there. So you can kind of create a circle and go about spraying the frogs down. It's an instantaneous effect. However,
Do I kill the garden that was that was on it?
the grass is super dead around there.
Oh no, just like this giant crop circle.
I mean, I did make this as potent as possible so I could kill these frogs.
So Killian, you've got like you've used this nozzle machine before. You understand the mechanics of it. You know that there's like a certain spraying pattern that makes it most effective. Gwen, you've never really had to help out with anything like this at all. You've read about it for sure, but the actual labor of it is just very beyond you. And your nozzle spray definitely is not following the prescribed method. And a handful of people within your nearest vicinity do inhale some of the vapors that were residual just due to your poor spraying methods.
Oh no!
And 3 people collapse amidst the circle.
Great, now I gotta make a cure for this.
I mean, they might be dead pretty soon.
We're gonna pause
least we got
on
rid of
the
the frogs.
extermination frog circle. Aledwin and Smudge, you've determined some new information about this missing persons that you get a feel that they might not have been sunken. What was that, cinder block feet?
Yeah.
That's the one. Smudge using his bizarrely fantastic tasting skills. The two of you were able to deduce that they were probably taken by boat. Just moving all those clues together, you solved a little mini mystery. You mentioned that you wanted to head back to the Order?
Well, I wanted to both report and kind of just verify that everything else, like, because checking with Ivory and the whole High Priest ran.
Yes.
I have a working theory that the blood and everything might be related to the ransacking of the High Priest's but I don't have any actual proof.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Smudge is cool, I feel like heading back to the Order is probably the next best step.
Yeah, that's the question.
It's all on Smudge.
Yes, if I can hop off your back in the courtyard.
That's fine.
Damn
Chosen does as he wishes.
straight.
All right, so you do arrive at the Order, and Smudge has... How do you typically, like, what is your method to dismount? I'm just visually curious.
I
I know.
I think it's like just kind of turn around on his shoulders and slide down like on a slide, like whee!
You get more soot down your back, Aledwin. And you are looking almost as disheveled as your little friend. It's a look, and it is not a good look.
It's been a bit of a day. It's probably not even.
No, it's still early. It's like noon, probably. Yeah, that seems right. So Smudge, sir, what are you doing in the courtyard?
I will wait for Aledwin to go inside, and then I am going to run around to if there's like a sewer or something that goes into the temple, because
Oh. I need like a history roll.
I know. I'm trying to think if it would be a move anywhere, but
Yeah, read a bad situation because
Yeah, I think sharp makes sense for that.
yeah, well, there's how can I get in? What's the best way out?
Ooh, yeah, that's 10.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So you can hold 3 with a plus 10. So I'm gonna start by telling you the best way in. There was definitely a sewer grate that you have visited before. There's really good. They're kind of like hamsters, but with scales, and they have like little scratchy feet. They hang out
Ugh.
there, and they taste great.
Okay.
Only to you. They're not really palatable for anybody else. So you're familiar with this grate, and you've traveled it back and forth, and you know that it does lead to under the temple.
Okay. What I really want to do is like scramble around under the temple, and basically if I can find someone, okay, either if there's any let's say hidden chambers that a Ledwin might not know about,
Okay.
or if there's anyone that I know would be interesting to eavesdrop on.
That's the one. How do I... I'm trying to visualize the infrastructure of a building, like pipes and stuff. Okay, so this is gonna sound silly, but it's my fantasy world. There is one pipe, like a little flap over it. It's probably like a bathroom pipe. But like bathrooms in places like this are fancy holes, kind of carved out of the wall to make like a seat. But ultimately, it's just like you poop
It's
in
like a garderobe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dump some water down. But like you know what pipe leads to what's the person in that room called? What do we name them?
The high priest? Or
Did we give them a name? No, it's
The
High
High
Priest.
the high priest.
You know that gross bathroom pipe does lead to the High Priest's office. Because you've listened in before. You know this is a person of interest. Mostly interesting that they tend to stuff a lot of weird, non-fluid related things down the pipes.
Ooh.
That was a gross sentence, by the way. Don't want to repeat that. So you have 2 more holds on your read about situation.
Okay.
What is the biggest threat? What's the best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What is most vulnerable to me? And what is the best way to protect the victims? So I can pick a question, I can come up with an answer.
I kind of
If it doesn't fit, I can make it fit. This is one of
Okay.
those scenes.
it's kind of like, are there any dangers we haven't noticed, I guess?
So this will be a 2-parter. You hear sounds from the pipes, soft voices. None of them are a man's voice though, which I think the High Priest is officially a dude. However, in like the pile of stuff that often comes out of this pipe, there's bits of paper that are sticking out. If you dig through and pull the paper out, it is slightly illegible. Actually, can you read? This is a really important question.
I think when the cult found me, they taught me to read Elvish and Common, but I wouldn't be able to read anything else.
Okay, no, that tracks. Like, you're a representative of them. Like, can you really read, though?
I think there's a lot of sounding things out going on.
Perfect. I gotta think of what this paper says now. It is a letter to the High Priest. You know that it's a letter because it says "to" at the top. High Priest in like nice flowing font. And then the contents of the letter are obscured by the various fluids that it's been in contact with. But you pick up on words like chosen, dangerous, apocalypse, and the words sun and west.
Sun as in the
S-U-N.
thing in the sky?
Yeah.
Okay.
And west, like the direction.
Mm-hmm. Is there any sign of who the letter is from?
It was never signed.
Oh, okay. Okay, and one more?
Yep.
Or,
Yep. Because you got that 10 plus.
okay.
Um,
What's the most vulnerable to me?
what's most vulnerable to me?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird question for me, just as like for Bianca to understand. Does that mean like what
I
is
have
your...
trouble understanding it
Yeah.
too.
As a group, how do we understand that? Like, what is your weakness?
I
Like
would say to me it makes sense. It's like what is
a threat?
what is going to be most affected
Mhm.
by speech? Like what would be weak against this?
How, like, I read it as how can I do the most damage later on in the mystery?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Most vulnerable to your actions.
Simply by those 5 words that I had elicited to you. Chosen is repeated many times. And like a couple spaces later, you do see a recurring word of dangerous. Excuse me. So it does lend a lot of credence to your own personal power. And hopefully it's like a nice little confidence boost amidst this potentially horrific mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to complete before we shift to Eledwin?
Am I able to hear anything more from the voices?
Yeah, it is a woman's voice, and she is singing a very famous human nursery rhyme to herself. I don't actually know any nurseries that I could sing. But it's got like your stereotypical like soothing words like that hush little baby, don't speak words.
Cry.
Yeah. But she's singing that is really all you're able to pick up on, which you've never it's a bizarre thing, but that's for you to deduce.
Am I able to tell where it's coming from at all?
The one pipe that had plopped out those papers is where that sound, like that singing, is from.
So like up by the high priest's office. Okay. I always my intuition is always to push these things as far as I can. So I really want to see if I can like scurry up that pipe and like poke my head out and see anything.
I don't think you can fit in the pipe. I'm picturing piping, like housing piping.
Okay.
I've never really, not goblin friendly.
Okay. I'm picturing Smudge sticking his head, trying to get in there and getting his head stuck for a minute. Like...
That's how cats can find out if they fit or not. If their head fits, they're fine. But your head does not fit.
And then having to like push myself out of there again.
You fall back in the pile of unnamed mysteries for a reason.
Oh. I think at this point I'd be willing to go find Eledwin again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Eledwin.
After eating some of the yummy things.
What, those more of those scaled hamsters?
Yeah, the scaled hamsters.
Good. Eledwin, you had left Smudge alone in the courtyard and entered the beautiful double wide gold gilded silver embossed sparkling doors. Inside it's quiet again. All the chaos, all the ruckus that had previously been roused by your tumble has settled down, and all the doors are closed to like the sleeping quarters. You get a feel that everybody has just returned back to their regular routine. Halls are empty. What would you like to do?
I guess I'll head back to the High Priest area, start looking for Ivory.
Yeah, you definitely can climb those stairs faster than Ivory was able to. And you step up onto a similar scene. You statement about the environment, because like the sky is just covered in black cloud. There hasn't been a lot of daytime is like slightly gray. Nighttime is blackness. So it's still slightly gray outside. But it was when you had stepped up on this landing 3 hours ago, and that door is ajar. But this time you see the flickering of candlelight and the singing, the soft singing of a woman's voice.
Do I recognize the voice?
It's Ivory.
Yeah, okay. And so she's singing a human lullaby. Yeah, that's not creepy.
I wish I knew an actual lullaby. I would love to like sing it creepily.
To sleep amidst the trees.
Maybe I'll write one for the next session.
There
It's
you
just gonna be
go.
creepy things about like human babies. So
Rockabye Baby. That's a creepy one.
is it okay?
A lot of the nursery rhymes are pretty creepy when you break them down.
Oh, so I could just pick one
Sure.
that exists and it would be great.
Much, yeah.
For sure.
All right. I'm not the quietest person in the world, but
No.
I'm going to attempt to be quiet and try to like slowly, kind of like peek into the room.
Okay. The first thing you noticed is Ivory sitting behind the desk, and she's just like tidying papers. All the desks are closed. The window is repaired. And she's just doing like, you know, when like in movies like they like pan to like an office scene, and the person's just like shuffling and stacking those papers just repeatedly, and that's what she's doing while singing softly. As your head pops around the corner ever so slightly, she will look up at you though, because clang clang.
I'm not quiet. Yeah. Does she
Oh.
acknowledge me though?
Yes. Ah, Aladwin Miriyakawa. It is a blessing to see you at this time.
I would imagine so. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just tidying up for the High Priest. They should be back tonight. I just want to make sure everything is in order for him.
Where did he go?
Oh, I'm sure he was just running an errand. You know how busy he can be.
I do indeed, and that's why he has many servants to do errands for him.
You know, I hadn't really thought about that. I think he just wanted to stretch his legs. You know how old he is? His joints get a little stiff now, especially with the sun gone. I think that helped with his joint stiffness every now and then.
Just gonna kind of look over at the shattered stained glass window.
The glass window has been repaired.
Interesting. Does it like flawlessly? Like
Yeah. I mean, there's no
cracks
fucking...
or-
It's good workmanship.
Okay. I mean, that's not that surprising, I guess. Do you know? Do you know why his room is in such a disarray? He's normally a very organized person.
Ah, yes, your panic earlier this morning. You know, you made it sound like it was such a terrible thing, but I walked all the way up those stairs, and I just found 2 papers out of place. It wasn't half as bad as you described. The High Priest, we know that he's fine. He spends his nights... She looks at the window. He spends his days restless, as everybody does when they get to a certain age. He's just keeping himself busy, and I know that those 2 papers were a little unspeakable, but I have arranged things nicely so when he returns, and she reshuffles those papers, when he returns, everything will be in order.
Saying day and night kind of seems a bit off to me. Does that line up? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it seems like she's forgetting. Okay. Can I maybe read a bad situation?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I love that we're using this so much more now.
Oh, that's not fantastic. I'd say 5.
5 total?
Yeah, which means I level up, but hey,
Yeah. Oh, are you the first one to level up?
I think so.
Oh, that's super exciting.
That's my 5th experience.
Yeah, that's a level up.
I got a lot last session.
Yeah. It's not actually canon, but like a little circle of light spirals around your feet and it glows upwards as you level up.
I appreciate the reference.
It makes me happy, so. Yeah, but otherwise, like you can't get a read off of
It's
Ivory.
off, but not to the point where I can. Okay.
Yeah, you can't like interrogate her per se.
Yeah. Like for all I know, she's just didn't drink her coffee this morning.
I mean, she's always been a little spacey, but like spacier than normal.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you one more scene, and then I'm gonna do a descriptive wrap up.
Okay. Man. Guess what we'll do is.
Got any fancy moves to use?
I don't think that's gonna help in this. Not with not actually having reasonable suspicion. Okay. So it's about noon. Well, I guess we're guessing because we can't actually tell.
Yeah.
Dark
The
cloud.
sundials are not working. It's stressing out a lot of people.
Everybody's late.
Yeah.
So that's like midnight for us. I guess I'm gonna go back and find Smudge then, because I don't really know what else to do here.
Okay, perfect. Upon your acquisition of a particularly extraordinarily smelly smudge, just lurking in the sewers. Smudge, did you keep that paper on you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you want to head to the guild?
Yeah, we can talk on the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you this scene, and then I'm gonna describe the horrific guild situation.
Right. There was a lady and she was singing this like really awful like melodic song, and it was the worst. And oh, I found this, and I show him the letter.
It literally smells like feces, though.
Yeah. Good thing I'm wearing gauntlets. Yes, that was Ivory. She's. Where did you find these?
In a toilet.
Like the back end of the toilet.
That face, though.
So, is it? It's not very legible. Is that because it's like eroded, like it's torn, or is it?
Parts, like a quarter of it, has been just like you know when like paper gets wet and it just like flakes away,
Yeah.
mushes away.
Falls apart, yeah.
Yeah. But like the bulk of the letter still is intact. It's been waterlogged or liquid logged, and there are streaks on parts of it that do make it illegible.
Okay. Yeah, and this is all like handwritten stuff. So. It's
Mm-hmm. So like the pen bled in the
Yeah, it's
water
not
liquid. But similarly, you do catch the terms chosen, dangerous, apocalypse, sun, and west.
something
Do you
very
think
bad.
Gwen or Killian would know how to fix it?
Quite possibly. Gwen is very smart. She might be able to discern something about this. I fear that something dark has happened to the temple in the order.
Well, duh. Okay. So as we're walking, someone has blood. Someone thinks that the chosen is dangerous, and they're right. The high priest is doing random stuff. I don't know.
Problem is we don't know who we can and can't trust. We don't know how far this rebel sect has gone and influenced the rest. It seems like there's some sort of rebellion or coup taking place. We'll have to keep our distance from those in the temple now to
Hmm.
exactly is happening.
Okay. And some people from the temple have a kid that is not theirs, which is never good. Okay.
Yes, not exactly good news in any sense of the word.
Hmm.
But perhaps we'll be able to find answers with Wynn's library.
What if the high priest killed the kid and then the kid's mom found out and then the kid's mom killed the high priest and dragged their body down to a boat and then took them out to sea and fed them to the sharks?
That's completely plausible.
It's a theory, yeah.
As a theory, that is plausible. Unfortunately, we lack the facts to completely rule out every other theory that could possibly be.
Well, what's your idea?
Personally, I believe that something bad has happened to the high priest, and he has possibly been kidnapped or worse.
Yeah, killed by the kid's mom.
Where is the kid's mom, by the way?
He's in the guild,
At
right?
the guild, yeah. Jamila
yeah.
is the guild dean leader.
I must admit, we can't rule her out. It would be probably pertinent to at least check in on her.
Oh, this is what happens when you constantly steal children.
When you what? Steal children?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happens when you constantly steal children. Parents want to murder.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially.
Well, we're there. We can always ask her. After we ask Killian and Gwen about how they can fix the letter.
Okay, write that down in
Yeah.
your old notes because I might forget it.
That's a great idea, actually.
Please.
I'm writing it down too.
Thanks.
Killian may have some sort of scientific way that he
I love the
Forensic.
Scientific.
I love this rivalry so much.
Yeah. All right. As the two of you are contemplating how to potentially solve your mysteries, you come upon the largest green space in front of the guild, and you heard the sounds and the croaks and the growling of the dying growlers frogs.
As they croaked.
As
There it
that
is.
happened. And you walk upon the scene of everybody holding these. Killian, what do they look like? What am I describing? The contraption? Real quick, please.
All right. We've all seen Ghostbusters. you know how that looks. It's just a whole lot easier that way.
Okay,
That's-
perfect.
it's
The
a-
more manual version of that. Like, there's like a nozzle that you have to like pull to like pressurize. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it.
spray, and then you gotta do it again.
Because unlike Gwen, you just need to lightly hold the trigger, not freaking
There's an
death grip it.
entry in my books about this.
Don't death grip, just lightly tap.
It's too late.
It's too late. Sorry, Devin, you were gonna say something?
Isn't that scene in the elevator when they turn it on? I feel like that was the first thing that happened when they started.
Yeah.
Killian turns his on. The other two just
I like the visual. But you two walk, the clearing kind of formulates, and you see the crowd, you see the growling, you see the frogs that have croaked.
We got you to say it.
Oh,
But as you get closer, you see out of everybody, like everybody has really good form, everybody's back straight, and they've got a really good handle on the actual contraption itself. But Gwen is being a little bit sporadic, and within 20 seconds of coming into view to be able to recognize shapes and faces. 3 people, 2 humans and a gnome that we had earlier?
Yeah.
2 humans and a gnome collapse to the ground.
Is it the one with the ear just fixed?
It was Kimono
No, Jackie.
I don't want to have killed them.
Poor Kimono.
Is that what we can see then?
Yes.
Okay, Smudge, are you on my back or are you walking next to me?
I'm on your back, and as soon as I see that, I'm like, woohoo, free for all, and go to jump off with.
Free for all.
Okay.
Oh no.
I am going to run over to the collapse people and try to get them away from whatever I can. And I guess assess them, whether or not it would be worth me casting Lay on Hands and risking the damage, or whether it's more of a just get them out of there.
I'm
The
pretty
2
sure
humans?
that Dad, seeing as the time
Well,
frame
that's the
of
other thing,
getting
yeah.
there later, yeah.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
What's
humans.
their status?
I can give them their last rites, but
They're hella dead. Kimono does
no.
let out like a cough in their wonderful nasally voice. Yeah, thank you. And you accurately assess that there is no one to be saved today. And we're gonna stop here.
Oh no.
To your
I'm
first
a
kills, but
monster.
not what you expected.
No.
Mhm.
Gwen,
The
WTF.
title comes into effect. Who are the monsters? It is me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Whoops.
are.
All right, let's answer some questions real quick.
Yes, let's.
All right. Did we conclude the current mystery?
Yes.
One of them.
bug thing, yes.
The frogs, yes.
Oh, the frogs, yes.
The entirety of the church stuff, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That seems more like a long-term.
I feel like we solved a portion of it.
Yeah, we still need the child.
We
Which
still have,
I'm
like the whole
hoping,
apocalypse to deal with.
I'm
I'm
just
hoping
not-
the child is still
I'm not sure
alive.
if Frogs was a mystery so much as like just a problem.
Yeah, I'm not, it's a part
Agreed.
of the main mystery. It was just like a challenge because I didn't. Monster of the Week has a lot of just like, here's your baddie, fight the baddie. But this was a take on like, here's the mysteries, maybe fight
Right.
things to solve the mysteries. So the current mystery is not concluded. Did we save somebody from certain death?
No.
Within our group, we all lived. My gnome friend died, so
No.
there goes my publicity.
No. I made it
Right?
bad.
Norman, that was like your one. You did a great job sewing on their ear. And
You did. You were so good. I ruined it.
Well,
I
you
ruined it.
gave them a couple of hours of full hearing.
Yeah. Kimono JK was super grateful. They loved those hours. They just didn't know the end was coming. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
I now know where to amass more hemlock root, so
Okay.
that's going to be very useful to me in the future.
Hemlock root is poisonous.
And I'm very good at extracting body parts.
That's new.
I
Devin,
feel
did-
like the stuff from the books were new and important about the different forms of the apocalypse and the different methods in which to deal with it.
no, absolutely. I think that was new information about the world. Everybody agrees?
Yeah.
Shannon, I see you talking, but I don't hear you talking. No, if you're closer, it's better.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the whole sun-west apocalypse thing,
Mhm.
if we can combine that with the books, we're gonna get some real traction.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think next week is going to be a lot of mysteries are going to be solved at that point.
Finally, did we learn something new and important about a fellow hunter?
I'm not a total piece of shit as everyone thinks I am.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's true. I don't know if like the play, like the players learned, but like the characters didn't though.
I'm very good at playing dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gwen learned that about you.
Character might kill my character.
What's funny enough
Yeah.
is I kind of had a little bit. I wanted a little bit more of an interaction with Faryad of it because I had this whole like scene in my head that I would give Faryad like a little ball to play with while me and
Aw.
was talking, so they wouldn't like stress out over the fact that they're in a giant laboratory.
We
Well,
will
we never
probably
got
have to
that.
return to the lab, so we'll find a space for that.
It'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, so the way this works is if we can answer yes to 1 or 2, we get 1 experience. So everybody mark 1 more experience.
I level up.
Me
Nice.
too.
Because we are short on time, so at your leisure, go through the level up, and then on our next session, we will talk about what everybody chose. Do we only have
Perfect.
3 level ups that occurred?
Yeah, I have 3.
Okay.
I have not.
Oh,
Leveled
Shannon,
that
you
a
leveled
lot.
up too?
No.
Sorry, Shannon, you put your hand up for yes, you leveled up? Okay, so it's just Killian that hasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. All right,
I'm a slow build.
you
We'll
are, you're
get there.
getting there. But we have 4 minutes left. So, thank you everybody who tuned in. This was another session of Who Are the Monsters. So really quickly, my name is Bianca. I can be found on Twitter as @BiancaZelda. I'm your DM. Devin, who are you and where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at DonBGoldenSun, which is where I mostly post RPG stuff. Currently, it's mostly D&D.
Oh, you can't talk louder into your mic.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm very soft. Yeah, so most of the time I'm posting D&D stuff on the Twitter at DonBGoldenSun, but occasionally I dabble into other things as well, like cosplay,
Excellent.
various other things.
Perfect. Carly, who are you and how can we find you?
I'm Carly. You can find me on Twitter. It's Carly221B because Sherlock. So that's why. But yeah, so Carly221B. You can find me there.
Perfect. Miriam, who are you and where can we find you?
So I'm on Twitter at media_junkie. I'm also the GM for the Masaverse podcast, and we just have character portraits, so
That's really exciting.
yeah, so you can check that all out on my Twitter and the Masaverse podcast official Twitter, which should also be in my Twitter.
Ooh, very nice. Norman, who are you again and where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at NormanLambert45. It's just pure random on what's there. Paid 25% of mind on what I do. Sorry about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And finally, Shannon, who are you and can you tell me about that fuzzy microphone? Is it actually fuzzy?
This is just the windscreen that I've got for it, the plosive cover.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I love it.
It's been distracting me for the past little while, and I've been meaning to ask, but it's just like, when's a good time? So I figured this was a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Those are great sounds, too. Yep. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been hosted on the One Shot Network. If you want to encourage what we do, please support our Patreon, and we can support you in kind by creating more amazing content. So thank you.